That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Folks, Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. A little fix, AM and the PM crossover only on A2D Radio. Every show we are brought to you by our doc, make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill locations. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Tom Arnone, Ryan Brother, Ralph Delvecchio, Frank Vespi, Greg Mockvick be with us in a little bit. Everybody out there join us. Welcome. If we would have came on about a half hour ago, it would have been a lot of kumbaya. A lot of kumbaya. Right now, not so much, but guess what? When you're talking about the NBA, teams make runs. This is the way it goes. Can you figure out a way to get out of here per se with the W? That's all that matters to me. We'll be doing Sixers live reactions throughout the rest of this game. But later on the show, around the NFL, give us some playoff predictions out, win you some money against the spread. Circle the NBA throughout the night. Bradley Beal again. Circle the NBA at night. Bradley Beal circled us up and down the night. I mean, it's been a show. But we'll talk about some surprise teams early on here, a little over 2 weeks in. And obviously a lot of Sixers on the docket. We'll have our Sixers post-game show as well as soon as this game goes final. But our main conversation at hand is Sixers versus Warriors and, a 17-point lead at halftime. I mean, Wizards, sorry. I don't know why I said Warriors. Sixers versus Wizards. Feel like the Warriors. The comeback. You know what I mean? The comeback feels like something the Warriors would have did, to us. I think they did do it to us. That's why I'm getting these flashbacks, right? Like they did it to us. The Warriors did this to us a couple years back. I remember it. We were
shooting like the Warriors in the first half.
No, we were shooting like the Warriors, and we were shooting like the Warriors in that game too until they came back and beat us. But no, I mean, listen, you blow a 17-point lead at half to the Washington Wizards, who we know can score. Well, we talked about how well this team's played defense, the Sixers, and not a good enough defensive effort tonight. But again, you're gonna have these nights. You're gonna have these nights, and blown leads are annoying, but they all are forgiven. You figure out a way to win a basketball game.
Oh, we missed.
And you don't win every game in the NBA. It's not how it works. So the more you find ways to win games, the better it goes. Our poll question brought to you by allcampusoc.com. Discount code A2D, 15% off all your team hats. That's allcampusoc.com. Discount code A2D, 15% off all your team hats. You want a Sixers hat right now?
Oh, this guy.
Pretends to say one from the Delaware. It's a Delaware River shot right there. Jeez.
The Latvian laser.
Well, if you want a Sixers hat, allcampusoc.com. Discount code A2D, 15% off. Ships right to you, family. Ships right to you. Our poll question, which was really exciting in the first quarter when we came up with it, because the guy couldn't miss. But trading for Seth Curry was the Sixers' best offseason move. Do you agree or disagree? So trading for Seth Curry was the Sixers' best all-season move. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Like, subscribe, follow. Join the conversation tonight. Watch the Sixers with us. Hopefully you can figure out a way to win this basketball game. And to the poll, I know a lot of people are going to say they're going to agree with this. So I'm just not, just because somebody has, it's agree, disagree radio. I don't want all kumbaya. So I'll say disagree. He wasn't the best offseason move. If I had I would love to say all three of the veterans, but I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go a little different here. I'm going to go what Dwight Howard's meant to Joel Embiid. All right, and what Dwight Howard's veteran presence meant to this basketball team, and I can even make the case for Danny Green's veteran presence. But I really like, I can make a case for either one of them being just as important as Seth is, right, for his scoring, because we needed somebody to stretch the floor. He absolutely does it, all right, but we needed more than just one guy, right? It's more than a one guy act on why we're a better basketball team right now. So I'm not going to say it's Seth. I'll go somebody else because I know probably at least two of you guys will probably go it's him. So I'll say it's Dwight, just for his impact on Joe and his impact on where Joe got ran over by Westbrook. Jeez.
Okay. Get up, Joe. Get up, Joe. For the love of God, get up.
No, he's up. He's back.
Okay. All right.
He's back. Sixers
I
up.
was having flashbacks.
Sixers up too. But I think it's not going to come up in the stat sheet, his impact, but his veteran impact for guy just turned the basketball over. For Joel Embiid, even for Ben Simmons.
What a steal.
And that's what he does.
Got
the old reach around pass.
It's getting sloppy.
408.
Sloppy. Oh, not the Latvian laser. Oh, thank God! I got to start saying that more.
I mean, this is incredible. I mean, this is
you have a front row seat.
This is great basketball tonight between two teams, man. Listen, Sixers the best team in the NBA, 6-1.
Ralph,
Ralph, I love it.
Ralph,
you guys should love it too, right?
I'm going to need you to stop it right there. Okay. Tom, I'm also going to disagree with the poll. I mean, what Seth Curry's done in this game, and just the difference making, just having somebody that can be, so clutch from three has been awesome for us, and it's going to continue to be awesome for us. But I'm going to go back to just the addition of Doc Rivers. When you talk about changing of culture, kind of like we've talked about numerous times, on other shows, going all the way back to the first time we did one of these this season, the last time we played the Wizards.
This isn't just a player poll? Oh, I thought this was just a player. It felt like just a player poll.
No, it was. I mean, it can. I mean, if we want to keep it straight player, then
that's the only reason I didn't say Doc, because I thought I was going to be like, oh, Tom's throwing an asterisk around, because that's where I was going to.
No. Just
I threw myself a curveball, like mid sentence. I threw myself a curveball. I got Dwight. So no, it's fine. Let's use whoever you guys want to use. Makes it better. I mean, I would agree that it's being Doc. But I'll stand by Dwight being a big factor for that too. But go ahead.
And the funny thing is too, I feel like some people would disagree with the Doc thing because they would go all the way up to the addition of Daryl Morey, because that's technically an off-season move. You know what I mean? But I'm just looking at the comparison of a Brett Brown-led team and a Doc Rivers-led team, and how much different it's been as far as putting guys in the proper positions. And this is why I say Doc Rivers, instead of a Seth Curry, just because. It goes back to kind of the argument people have with the Eagles. So if we had Jefferson or DK, it's like, oh, well, are we sure they're going to use them right? Well, who knows what a Seth Curry with Brett Brown's going to look like? And I don't think I'm like that. I don't think I'm reaching with that. You know what I mean? Just because the one common thing you could see, and what the hell was that? By the way, was it Thomas Bryant who shot that? Who was that?
It was us getting lucky is what it was.
Yeah.
He had him wide open too. He had Beal wide open. Now let's see if Ben can win. All right, he's not trying to. That a boy, Joe, and one. I was hoping Ben was going to win that matchup with Russ right there, because he's had some opportunities to win that tonight. But guess what? We better hope to you saying Doc and me agreeing with Doc and everything that changed the culture. Well, this is a game you win, no matter what. And absolutely won it last year. Like, people are saying, like, oh, well, their schedule's soft at the beginning. I don't care. It's the NBA. Like, it's like any other sport. Your record is what it is. You don't win every night on the NBA in the NBA. Like, guys have hot nights. You're running up against, Bradley Beal having a career night. Like, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But can you?
We lost to plenty. We lost to plenty of bad teams the last handful of years with Brett Brown. We you know what I'm saying? We always laid eggs to Atlanta before Atlanta was somewhat serviceable. We would never beat the Magic. We would struggle against the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? And all those teams have improved.
Can you
would find a way.
Can you figure, like, in games like this where you're leading by a ton, right? Can you get out of it? Like, they come back, they storm back. Great, it happens. The NBA. It's called everybody makes a run for a reason, right? So can you close a game out still? And you're talking about 2:36 left on the clock, 2:35. This is where good coach basketball teams that we know have a lot of talent win games like this, regardless if they're supposed to or not. And especially with the lead you had. Like, if you don't have a lead and you lose this game, it's the NBA, right? But the fact that you have a 17-point lead at half, 21-point, I guess, was their biggest. You don't lose games like this.
Nope.
You don't. Good teams don't. They're going to lose games. There's not games you have huge leads like this. So now you got to close it. You got to close it down here. You got to shut it down. And this is where, let's see, Washington got 131 with 2:26 left, right? Let's see where their points go from here. Right? And let's see if we can really lock them down.
And you look at just that play right there, and that, we've seen that a lot this entire game, but just going down to Embiid, dominating when people were in foul trouble down in the paint. We begged for that as Sixers fans in the past. But in the past, with the Brett Brown-led offense, and this isn't going to be a Brett Brown, piss on Brett Brown party, but it's the truth. Where would we see Joel Embiid on past teams? He'd be out at the freaking three-point line. You know what I'm saying? You're going back to the same thing that always works in late games, and that's Embiid dominating, going to the line, and just pounding, going down, in the paint. That's what's important. And then if it's not Embiid, they're kicking it out to Seth Curry, who's obviously on fire, Danny Green, who's making a lot of shots, and Tobias, who's been playing really well.
Well, I mean, this starting five is, I would like to know the exact number of how many times they've all been in double figures. I know they were last game, and I think the game before that.
Yeah, they were.
And it's another one. So, I mean, that'd be at least 3 straight games where your starting fives all in double figures. Because the bench hasn't been good tonight.
No.
You're scoring 136, and I got to go look at it again, but I'm pretty sure this is mostly a lot of this is by your starters.
Yeah, Shake's the only one that, I'll look at the stat sheet in a second, but Shake's the only one that stands out to me that's had a big-time presence in this game.
Yeah, I felt like he has that. He's at 19 in that 19, 21, 23, 24 points from your bench. So, but you have 136. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we were talking on opening night, Tom, in the entire game, and I think we put up 115. We had 42 points off the bench. You know what I'm saying? The last time we played the Wizards. And the biggest thing, too, Tom, is, we go back to past years and how friggin', eerie it is and glaring it is looking at these things. You
Sixers
honestly –
ball.
What?
That's Sixers ball. I'm watching the replay.
Oh, okay. You look at the beginning of the game. Joel Embiid was 0 for 6, right? In past years, if Joel Embiid was 0 for 6, you can almost write it down and lock it down that we're losing the game. It didn't even friggin' matter.
No,
Seth Curry was shot.
Yeah, you got no production from anybody else on your roster. And now you have production from a lot of guys on your roster because you're starting fives deeper. That's why we were talking about in the offseason. This would be the best situation if you started all the guys, the 2 guys you brought in together. You know what I mean? And Doc made the right move to do it. But you're 100% right. Like, I was thinking that earlier on in the game too. Like, if he's 0 for 6, you're actually getting blown out probably. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh my God, where did Washington come from? The fact that you were up big. And every time he makes his presence felt, every time we go on runs. Every time. Like whenever he starts making his presence felt in game. And that's credit back to, like we were talking about earlier, that's credit back to Doc getting in positions to make plays. And this entire roster feels better. But again, you gave up 60 tonight. You got a guy who's dropping 60 on you tonight. I mean, he's at 59 now, I think. Right? He's at 59. Yeah, 59.
He's at 59 right now. Yep.
You got a guy drop 60 on you. You lose. You lose in the
if this was a Brett Brown coach team, this would have been a loss.
It was becoming a trend the last 2 years that we would be giving up. Oh, what a shot, Joe. What a shot. It would become a trend to where we would be giving up, career highs or close to career high performances to the Beals and the Kembas and the Kyries. You know what I'm saying? And we would lose by 20 points.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they got good production from guys tonight too in the second half. Really, I mean, and we didn't shoot the ball nearly as well in the second half, and we've been a little sloppy. And that happens when you have big leads in the NBA, right? Like we see it all the time. But like I'm going to keep harping on, 8-0 run in the last 2 minutes, right? And we talk about that 131 marker with 2:36 to go in the fourth, right? Remember that marker. That's a big marker to remember.
And
right? That's a big marker because now you're talking about over a minute and change, and they're still a 131.
Yep. Well, and Tom, to your point now you're looking at it with a minute 15 remaining with one stop here and a 3 that puts a dagger in it. That's the I say that in Westbrook, of course. Of all people, Westbrook makes that.
It's getting spicy at the end, fellas. Getting spicy.
Not spicy. You're up 5. You get a basket.
I know. I'm just busting balls. Relax.
Never a wrap though in the NBA. That's the thing. Even like anybody thought of this as a wrap at halftime.
Nope.
Get on the floor. Yeah, I don't like that.
You gotta die for that, Tommy.
Get on the floor, Seth. Get on the floor. All right. See, that's why it's never over in the NBA. That's why at halftime I was like, hey, this isn't over. Because you just look at Beal's stat line. And you're like, all right, he's looking to have a monster night.
And has he hit 60 yet?
And Bertans is going to make another 3 here.
You think so?
The Latvian laser?
Has Beal hit 60 yet?
No.
Or is he still stuck on 59?
Still on 59.
Gotcha.
I mean, what a performance from him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, miss another for a Frosty, baby.
Are they still doing it this year?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Nice.
What is Lord Walker saying? How? I don't know what that word is.
How souped is Tom that his favorite Danny Chuck 'em up Green is 5 for 8 from 3 in 30 minutes of play.
Well, I'll remember. I'll remember Ralphie's. Danny! A huge shot for Lakers Nation. I'm not. Good luck.
Oh, look at him fired up.
Good finish. Assert yourself when they double the big dog. Assert yourself. That's all we ask for.
Going to the line too. I think he's been really good from the line too tonight. I've noticed that he's gotten to the line a lot, and I think he's been really good with it.
What is he from the line? Like I thought he was. I think that's 2 misses guaranteed.
Oh,
good job, Bob.
As Ryan says that he misses a free throw.
You all know how that goes. You know how that goes when the announcer's like,
it's the old announcer's curse.
You're going 48 to
Yeah. It's almost like when the no hitter's there in the 7th, and he's like, I don't want to say it, but it's my job. I gotta say it.
I might as well put the graphic up. Simmons,
no hitter.
I might as well put the graphic up at the bottom of the screen, Ralphie. Ben Simmons, 3 throws tonight.
Yeah.
What's his what is his free throws? I know he missed at least 2.
I'm pulling
let's see.
I believe he's not shooting well from the line this season yet.
Right.
Frank, can you pull it up? My thing's being slow. 3 for 6. 3 for 6.
All right, 50%.
So not as good as I thought.
No, he's been off all year on the free throws. Like he's probably left 10 of them out there. And that's not even saying 10 of them to put you at 100%. No, that's just 10 of them to maybe put you at 75. Where I think he should be. He should be 70%. He needs to start making them. Maybe that's the bad rub off on Dwight. From Dwight. You know what I mean? Now, they're shooting all the time again. Now you can't make a free throw.
Well, and you look at Embiid's too. 13 for 13 tonight from at the line, Tom.
Yeah, that's a difference. I mean, that's why it's so important when we talk about posting them up and getting them engaged. That's why.
Yep.
That's why. And 11 for 20 from the field. You know what I mean? That's a great night from the field.
Absolutely.
City 3 for 4 from 3. Like we talk about, if you're making the threes, shoot them a couple times. Go ahead.
Yep.
Don't overshoot them.
Great block, Tease. Great block.
Is he hurt?
Is that his first minutes of the game?
No, shut up.
No.
No, you're gonna start. You're gonna get those people started in here. You're gonna get them all stirred up in the chat. Free Matisse. Don't say that.
I like that though. I mean, we all thought he was a good defender. So, come in and be impactful in that minutes. Wow, what a man! Hold on to win this one would be a good one because
huge win.
Westbrook's hurt.
When we came on here, boys, it was looking like, oh my God, are we gonna lose this game?
The roller coaster of emotions tonight. I will tell you what. I mean, it was something.
But I kept saying to myself, like, no, because I think this team's different. It's different than the teams I've watched in the past, right? Over this stretch of whatever it's been, 5 years, 4 years of like competing. Say 4 years of competing, 3 years of competing, whatever it's been, right? But, I'm used to having leads, coming out of the half, giving up leads, and not winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, compounds the issue. Now it's like, how do you blow a 21-point lead? Well, it happens in the NBA, but you shouldn't. You should always win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That team goes on a run, but you're just so much better right now because you had such a big lead. It's hard for that team to then sustain that if you're a really good basketball team, because then you take over if you're better. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing our players now. This year, our players are better than last year's, but our coaching's better too. So it's like a combo. It's like the perfect storm, right? It's not just like to the poll too. It's not just Doc. It's not just Daryl. It's Doc, Daryl, Danny, Seth, Dwight. You know what I mean? All them additions.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Looked like a Brett Brown inbound pick.
Oh.
Wow, they're not even fouling?
Play the music.
No, they're conceding.
Wow,
they're conceding.
Now they found.
In and out for Bradley Beal. That's tough.
Ooh. Rule with the foul. So Bradley, and they're going to get him a look here with 7 seconds left to get sick. It's going to be a friendly, like, little gesture.
Mm-hmm.
But he's at 59 right now, and it's been stuck there for a hot minute too.
Well, look what Ted just said too.
Tobias. The game.
Beal was held to 2 points in the fourth, Tom.
Jeez.
They clamped down on him.
They did.
I mean, Ish Smith looked like a Hall of Famer, but I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Jesus, Tobias. I mean, can we make one for us?
Wow, they called the foul to give him 60. Oh my God! I told you, boys, it was in. I told you, I can sniff it.
Yeah. Because even Doc's like, come on now.
You can sniff this shit from a mile away. Yeah, like song like that, like country song, little mind reader. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like I was. Little Tommy Detective. Tommy Detective in the house.
By the way, checking in on the Wizards side of things, Yusuf is angry. He is whispering and he is angry.
He's whispering. He's like, fire Scott Brooks.
Yusuf, listen, we did you guys a favor on Sunday. We gave you the division. You think we're going to give you 2 favors? Come on now. You guys won the division, Yusuf. Everything's doing great. You should seriously free Bradley Beal. I mean, because that guy's a bad man. Like, I honestly feel bad for Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
141, 136 final.
What happened to Tobias? What happened to Tobias right there?
I don't know. I looked up and he was on the ground.
I think they collided right with each other as they were going for the after that foul shot.
Listen, a really good night from this whole starting lineup, and you can see how dangerous we can be because we can shoot it.
Bro, I feel bad for Bradley Beal, dude. That sucks, man. That sucks. 60 points. Oh,
hey, Yusuf, if you want to trade Bradley Beal to us, we'll gladly take him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we want to.
Tobias Harris played 41 minutes tonight. Wow.
How much?
41 minutes.
41.
Wow.
41 piece because Sixers back to back. So you would have liked to keep that lead in the fourth where you could have shut some guys down. So had to go a little longer, and you got a big one up in Brooklyn tomorrow against the Nets. So, let's see how they can rebound leg wise tomorrow, especially, Tobias still a young kitten, but you're talking about 41 minutes. Joel locked 37. Curious if he plays tomorrow. And Ben went for 36. Ben always goes for that many. But even Danny went 30 and Seth went 36. He had to go to his starters a lot tonight in the fourth, probably more than he wanted to. You know what I mean? Probably more than he wanted to. I'll tell you that.
I mean, you like you said, Tom, I mean, you take, 24 points off the bench, right? If you just subtract Shake Milton's 19, you have 5 points off the bench. To where, like you said, your starters coming up big. Tobias for 19, Embiid for 38, Simmons 17, Danny Green 15, and then Seth Curry 6 of 7 for 3 for 28 points total. I mean, that's like somebody was saying in the comments, like, when's the last time the Sixers scored 141? It's like, well, when's the last time all 5 of your starters were that dominant in their own ways?
Yeah, and everybody a little different.
At different times too, which was good. You know what I'm saying? First it was the Seth Curry. Then Embiid came in after his rough start. Then Simmons got it going early in the first, and then he, came clutch at the beginning of the fourth. Tobias was really good all over the place, and then Danny got hot in the second when everyone was shooting like the Warriors. Oh, whoa. We do have breaking.
What?
Markelle Fultz has torn his ACL.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Jeez.
And I think it was non-contact too, which sucks.
Wow,
I don't want to see that.
That sucks for him. Definitely sucks for him. Zane, what's up, Zane?
What's up, Zane?
Dan, I don't know if it's a rule about load management. I mean, he'll probably play tomorrow. I don't see why he wouldn't. I was just saying it would be typical if he didn't.
Yeah, I think the current rule right now is that if it's a national TV game, you will be facing some sort of punishment, possibly a fine. If you're worried about the load management, because I know this has happened for several years where, like, those big primetime games, we saw a lot of star players sitting out. So I think they might not do the load management coming up.
Well, and also,
maybe he'll just play like 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking about Tobias here, correct?
No, Joel.
Oh, Joel. Yeah, no, he'll play. He'll
play.
No, I figured he'd probably play. I just figured he might not play. He might not log 37 again.
No, unless it's a game like this to where it's, it's really close to the end. But no, I would say anytime, say, for example, for a bulk of the game, the Sixers are up anywhere from 12 plus. If it's a comfortable lead, they're not going to have him beat in there.
No, you probably see Dwight, probably log a lot more minutes tomorrow than he usually does. Maybe an extra 5-10 piece in minutes. But whatever. It's a big win tonight. And it's a big win because of the way you went about it. Because we lose this game every other year. Simple. And I know we've been saying that all year, but it's true. I mean, we're 7-1, the best record in the Eastern Conference. Your record, is what you are. You know what I mean? You are what your record says you are. 7-1. Orlando's 6-2 right now, losing Fultz for the year. That hurts them as looking as like that up and coming team, right? In the East, we've seen, obviously Boston and Miami in a close one right now, but nobody's really ran away with it. Indiana looks good, but you think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit, right? The Knicks look good. I mean, there's teams that look good, but it's funny, like Miami, Nets, like the season ended, right? Like Toronto, all out of the playoffs, right?
Toronto's a mess. They are an absolute mess, that team.
It's a funny early start to the year. You expect some of these teams are going to get themselves into this, so I'm not worried about it at all. And if you're a Nets fan or Miami, or maybe not Toronto, but them other two, you'll get yourself back into it. You know what I mean? You'll work yourself back in. But some of these early surprise teams, but like Milwaukee, 4-3, they've been average now. They've been great every other year in the regular season. It hasn't worked out for them in the postseason. Maybe it's a year where they're not as good in the postseason. I mean, regular season, but when the postseason comes, they ramp it up. Who knows? But shit, I'll take this team. We already know they can play well at home. That's been going on for 2 years now. So I'll take this team having the best record in the East if that's doable, if we can continue this, the best record in the East is my goal, because I want them not traveling to air quote Toronto, right? I don't want to travel anywhere, where a bounce can go somebody else's way and somebody else's gym. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is the year where we take home court throughout the playoffs, and things have to come through us. Especially, I'm way more confident over that to get to where I want to get to than having to go on the road all the time. And not going on the road all the time, but a game 7, I want to hear.
Well, and you look like, I really like this comment from Rice Stone. He says Seth is better than Redick on this team, and that's what we were kind of preaching, on the show, on this platform a lot. It's that we appreciate what JJ Redick was for us, but that's why we've been talking a lot ever since Seth Curry and Danny Green were here. And people were like, "Oh, you didn't trade for JJ Redick." It's like, well, the combination of Seth Curry and Danny Green, you would take that every day and twice on Sunday over JJ Redick. Because, number one, Seth Curry is a better shooter than Redick. Redick's a very good shooter. But then you have the addition of Danny Green. Like, I was talking to somebody in our comment section of one of our posts earlier, and they were saying, man, it just seems like Danny Green's lazy. And, Ralphie, I know you can attest to it because he was on your team last year. Number one, if you look at the entire Lakers team, they're still trying to get their feet under them because of the finals. And that's not an excuse. That's a reason. And two, Danny Green's not somebody like a JJ Redick to where if he's not shooting the ball lights out, he supplies nothing else. He supplies that 3-and-D. He supplies some defensive production that JJ Redick has never done. And Seth Curry, he's not a great defender, but he's a way better defender than a JJ Redick. So when you add those two on there, and all you have to do is give away, a Josh Richardson who really didn't fit on this team, and Al Horford, I don't even need to comment any further on that. Yeah. It looks like a freaking steal right now. And they're going to go through their struggles. I mean, I'm not saying Seth Curry is going to go 6 for 6 in the first 13 minutes of his playing time from 3. There's going to be times where we say, Seth doesn't look good for a week, or Danny's, he needs to wake up. It's going to happen. But when you talk, like you said before, Tom, it's not that, because you have the same core is still here. So it's not like you made massive adjustments with this roster. But when you look at the complementary pieces around the young core, it makes a lot more sense now because they can supply things that Simmons and Embiid can't, while also not being a liability on defense like JJ Redick was.
No, well, I mean, and the bigger thing than anything else is Simmons and Embiid are playing the most minutes they played together in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? And their production's way higher. So, like, all the people that say, like, oh, they can't play together, and we all said that was a joke. It's showing that obviously they can. You know what I mean? Obviously you can when you just space the floor a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. We didn't go out and get the greatest 3-point shooters of all time, but we made the right moves, the right veteran moves. Well, not just them two, but Dwight too. And you brought some guys who have won in here too. Right, and you brought a coach in here who's won. And when you put all them things together, I think you get what you get out of your younger players in like Ben and Joe, right? You're going to get more out of them because more is expected, right? The accountability word that's thrown around all the time, it's here. It's here for guys, and it's Joel's team, and you can see it. So you can see how Doc's made it Joel's team, right? When they need a bucket, they go to Joel Embiid. Right? And we didn't always do that in years past. Like, we get the ball inside. And I know Levi was saying it and it right here, but the two MVP leaders and MVP candidates, right, are the best centers in the league. Right? So he's done with the small ball. I've been done with the small ball to a point. And I thought Sam Hinkie's whole idea was to get away from the small ball a little bit. And for Daryl Morey to come in here and show that you can win it. You can win by beating people up inside. You can win with your best player being a generational big man. Again, like, them days are still here. They didn't just disappear. Right? They didn't just go away. Just because the Warriors shot the lights out and never missed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you win, if you score inside, it's an easier percentage bucket.
Yep.
Right? Than it is outside. You still got to shoot the 3, but then if you can score inside, what does it open up? It opens up the
three.
three ball.
Yeah, because like we've talked about so much, Tom, that and you've seen it a lot in these games, especially late in the games. That's why we've been so good in the fourth quarter. Embiid's dominating down low to where they always, a double team is just obvious now on him, but sometimes they have to triple team him. Well, that's two less guards. Two people are going to be wide open. And usually it's going to be somebody on the perimeter, and it could be two people on the perimeter. And when you have guys that can actually make shots in Seth Curry or Danny Green, and then, so far Tobias Harris, that's important. Or even a Shake Milton who, I know the last week he's kind of struggled from three, but still, he had 19 points. And like we were saying earlier, they're like the quietest 19 points I've ever seen.
No, they absolutely were. And some of these guys have been quiet. Like their production, it's like, tonight Shake 19. Like if you don't get that off the bench tonight from somebody, it's a game you probably lose.
Yep.
Right? So but it was like a quiet 19 to me because your starters played so many minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just joining us, trading for Seth Curry was the Sixers' best offseason move. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Chime in. Tell us what you think. Frank, Ralph. I know because the game was going on too at the same time here.
It's all good. Frank, you can go. I'll go last.
See how I interpreted that poll question as many ways as you can. Was it the best offseason move? Was it the best offseason move regarding players? When it comes to players in the offseason, I absolutely agree that this was one of the best player acquisitions made during this offseason. Overall, it's probably top three for me when it comes to the overall offseason moves in terms of the Sixers, with, of course, hiring Brett Brown and bringing in Daryl Morey. But, I'm going to stick with the player side of things. And I do agree that acquiring Steph Curry was a great offseason move for the Sixers. He definitely adds a lot of shooting, adds a little bit more of the defense that we desperately needed. So, you guys hit the nail on the head regarding Steph. He was on fire tonight. So I hope this continues. I hope we get to see a lot more of this shooting throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, and this team's really moved the basketball extremely well.
Absolutely. Something that we haven't seen from Brett. I'm loving what we're seeing so far with Doc.
No, we haven't, Frank. And the crazy thing is, this is a starting five that's newer together outside of the three of them. So you had Danny and Seth, and the ability for these five to move the basketball as well as they have early on, you expect to even continue to get better. And that's a part of coaching and a part of, having talent, right?
Yep.
Combo guard. Ralphie, do you think that's the best addition?
Since we're allowed to go, branch out a little bit and go, front office or whatever. I'm gonna go disagree.
We can say,
no. I'm gonna go the guy that's above him. I'm gonna go Daryl Morey. Okay, and it's amazing what he did. And from the beginning, his press conference when he came in here and he said, "Look, we got to center. We got to give Ben Simmons and these guys and Joel Embiid shooters." And look what he did, man. I think it was his second day or third day in, as the president of basketball of operations, came in and made trades. He got the Danny Green, he got the Seth Curry, and it's been wonderful so far for the Sixers.
Absolutely.
You guys are 7-1 now. Can you believe it? Who would have thought on January 6th the Sixers are 7-1 and are the number one seed in the Eastern Conference? So I'm going to say Morey, what he did this offseason, listen, he talked about it and he did it. And it wasn't like 2 years ago when you had Brett Brown on the podium and the press conference and he said, "We're going to go star hunting this offseason."
Oh, jeez.
And they got no stars out of it.
Don't say that. It's probably one of
the
worst
Look what he
catchphrases.
did. He sat there and he said, "Look, we got to get shooters around these guys." They went out. You got shooters. You're 7-1, first place in the Eastern Conference. You got to love it if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. I
know I'm right. It is what it is.
It didn't have to be. It didn't have to be splash anymore because.
Yeah.
have
Absolutely.
guys that you're paying splash to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be the right guys to complement them.
Yep.
And I think that's a tremendous job out of, Doc, Elton, Morey to be able to pull this off in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
To be able to go get 3 veterans the way they did. And like we talked about earlier, 2 that are champions and 1 that's got 3 rings or rings from 3 different teams, right? And Danny
Green, yep.
You can't handpick some better, just like leadership and guys that know what it takes to get there, right? And
Correct.
That's the exciting thing. Dan says, sorry, Ralph, number 1 seed in the entire NBA.
That's correct. I apologize.
Hopefully that continues.
Yeah,
Where you got a win game like this, where a guy goes for 60, even though they gave him the 60, he wrote, you know what? I'm asterisk in this. He had 59. Let's be real. We all saw what happened. Anybody with eyeballs could see that one. They gave him 60, but still, like man, you look around. Usually, you definitely lose them games.
Yep.
And
we saw that last season in the bubble where we gave T.J. Warren almost 60 points.
You mean Michael Jordan?
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
And guards always scored.
I didn't catch it until after you said, I'm like, oh. Sorry, it's been a very interesting day today.
Morris said Seth also seems level-headed, doesn't let his emotions get to him. No, I would agree with that. It looks like that, Mm-hmm. I mean, he comes from a basketball family, so.
Good.
But Joe,
so real quick, the next 5 games for the Sixers coming up. Okay,
you read my mind, Ralphie. Thank
you. Tomorrow you got the Nets. Okay, Saturday you got the Nuggets at home. Then you travel to Atlanta on Monday to play the Hawks. Then you have a back-to-back against the Heat. So you could say the big test is coming for the Sixers. I mean, you're playing all playoff teams. If you want to put the Hawks. I mean, they're a pretty good basketball team this year.
What are we going in those 5 games? What will our record be in those 5 games?
Well, KD's out tomorrow, correct? Because of the COVID situation?
Yep.
Yes.
KD. But like we said,
I'm going to say you guys are rolling right now, okay? I'm going to say you guys go 4-1, and one of your losses are going to come against the Heat. Pick whatever one you want doing the back-and-back.
Yeah, I'm going 3-2. I'm going to say loss against the Nuggets and 1 against the Heat.
3-2, huh? I mean, I that's tough because you guys are rolling right now.
Exactly.
I don't know who the fuck's beating us. So 4-1. It's 4-1, and my other loss comes against Miami in one of them games too. There's no way we're beating them twice. I mean, it could be weird, like we could lose to Denver and beat Miami twice. I mean,
right.
It's not.
Or we could lose to Atlanta and beat Miami both times, but I don't want to wish that upon losing to the Hawks. So I'm also going to go 4-1, and I will say one of the losses will come to the Heat.
Well, do we go to Denver, Ralphie, or are they here?
Denver comes here.
Oh, okay, 4-1. I'll go 4-1. I thought we had to go to Denver. If they're playing,
we do go to Atlanta.
Yes,
I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'll go 4-1.
Well, Atlanta's a place we don't play well, or haven't in the past. Then that's our place we haven't played well in the past. So
hey, we could say that about the Magic, and we blew them out.
No, it's true.
This is a new age, Tom. This is a new age.
Exactly. Let's keep
what Dougie P says. It's the new norm.
Keep changing this culture here. You know what I mean? Keep changing it. Looks like a lot of people are on the 4-1. Moore 3-2. Josh Eden 3-2. Dan's got him 3-2. Michael Black 4-1. And most people, I've seen a lot more too. Here we go. Pull a couple more. Levi had him at 4-1. And yeah, the refs were bad tonight, Joker. They almost let Washington back in this game.
Yep.
And I never want to say that, but they sort of helped when that shift was happening. They helped play a part in it. So, which is fine. I mean, that happened.
I know Yusuf was saying this earlier. Hey, Greg.
What's up, fellas?
Yo, Greg. What's up, buddy?
Living a dream.
Is the Sixers game still on for you down there, Greg? I know you were on a delay.
No, I was out, so I wasn't even streaming it.
Oh,
okay.
you were at the Magic game if they were.
I was helping my brother Markel into the
the
stretcher.
What'd you think? What do you think, man? I mean, it's
couldn't happen to a better guy.
I sense sarcasm. No sarcasm.
No.
Josh said tonight is a game they would have lost last year. And that's something that's been a common theme we said through 7 wins. I feel like that we could have made a case in all 7 of them. Like, well, this is a game they would have lost. This was a game they would have lost. And that theme continues.
Or at least points where they would have had to fight for a close victory instead of blowing teams out. You know what I mean? There's at least points in every game where you're absolutely right. They either lose that game or they create a huge mountain to climb back and squeak out a victory, which sure helps, but it's that fight back that kills you over an 82 or in this case a 72 game season, right?
Yep. And sportsman's right. I mean, when the going gets tough, our best players step up, and the big catalyst for that has been Joel. And like we talked about, you get spacing, and they want to double. You have guys that are going to make them pay. You know, Ben made him pay late in the 4th tonight with a big hoop when they went to double Joe.
Yeah, got the end one at the end. Yep.
Obviously, Seth makes him pay. Danny's made him pay. So you're seeing guys around them. Tobias has made him pay. So you're seeing guys around them hit the 3 ball when they do got to go double. And he sets that tone. He tries to set that tone early. And if he doesn't set that tone early, then Doc seems to make it a point to get him involved. Right?
And listen, Tommy, at some point of the season too, things are going to change, right? So, I think going forward, the way you guys are with the shooters and Seth and Danny Green and Tobias hitting shots now, it's going to get to a point where teams will be like, dude, we can't double Joel down low because if he kicks it out, it's money from 3. Mm-hmm. So, right? So if you're a team, you rather live with the 2 than live with the 3 or die with the 3. And you know what I'm saying. It is,
no, you're right.
Doesn't mix and match,
They didn't double him a lot. They didn't double him a lot early because he was missing. You know what I mean? Like you got to remember, he started out 0 for 6 in this game, and he finished 11 for 20.
Yeah.
Man, really good. He didn't miss. Once after he missed early, he literally, essentially, he missed what? 3 more shots?
Yeah, 11 for 14.
Yeah. It's also, if you're a Sixers fan, it's nice to see Ben Simmons down at the end of the game, because for some years now, I've noticed whenever I'm on shows with you, we get done a Sixers game, and it's almost a game similar like this, and you guys are asking, where was Ben Simmons? Mm-hmm. But tonight, it seemed like he was there in the spotlight, and for a Sixers fan, you got to love that.
And he's been more assertive, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, man, I just lost where I was going with the other part of that. With Joel. Oh, his defense, phenomenal night. I mean, the Neto's got a clear path to an easy bucket there, and for a big man to chase him down like that and get a block on him there, and then throughout the whole game. I mean, I think he had 4 blocks tonight at least, right? I mean, somewhere around there. He had a big night on that stat sheet as well. 3. So I mean,
3 blocks and 3 steals. So like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if one of those steals might have looked like a block as well.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, turnovers, right? And protecting
6 of them.
And the one that you didn't see it, but Neto had a clear run, and he came from half court, like the LeBron block.
But he did that a couple. I mean, he's done that all the time, right? But he did that a couple against Charlotte the other night.
Yep.
Devontae Graham they're trying to make a run. Right there at the end of the half, where the Sixers went on that huge run at the end of the first half, he kind of made a couple of those plays against Devontae Graham as well, right at the rim. So, no, you're absolutely right. It's nice to have that guy back there.
I agree with you, Sam. I agree with you. This is something I believed in since draft night, and Greg knows, Ryan knows, you guys all know. Joel's my son, and you just wait for him to put it all together, right? And you continue to wait for him to put it all together. And we all
my bad, Tommy. My bad.
It's right. You're just waiting for the health to be there, right? You're just waiting for the health to be there. And listen, man, if this continues all year with him, this is your NBA MVP. And especially
Absolutely.
if this team continues and he continues where they're, the best team in the East, it's going to have to do with him. And it's going to have to do 38 points, 11 for 20, money from the line. He says I go shoot the technicals too, by the way. And I was like, who's on the court when he took it, right? And it was like, everybody was on the court. Like, everybody was on the court. And he went and took it. And I said, I love it because it's his fucking team. It's his fucking team. And it's what Jimmy told him to do. It's what a lot of guys told him to do. And it took Doc coming in and some of these vets to come in to make the situation perfect and growth to say, you know what? I am the big bad wolf, right? I am. This is who I am, and I gotta carry my cups. I gotta carry my cups, and this is all he's done. This is all he's done this year so far.
And one of the
go ahead. That's
one of the interesting developments about Joel that obviously we won't know, right? Because we're not Joel, but you go through the process. You see guys like JJ and Jimmy get shipped off, right? Or leave, and then you have a stinker of a year like last year, right? How much internally?
It was well with me last year, man.
Yes, right. Yep. And then how much internally does Joe go, listen, we got a great new system here, right? I got shooters around me. I got a new coach, a new mindset, a new voice. But what did Joe do inside, right? And again, we don't know what he did inside his head to sit there and say, I understand, I could woe is me, keep going, woe is me, but I also have to be the man as well, right? And you're starting to see moments of that this year, already early, where he's just like, I need the ball, get me the ball. He saw it early on. I'm the most dominant guy in the block. No one can stop me. Well, great, Joe. We know this. Now you got to know it, and now you got to believe it, right? So absolutely, the situation seems to be going really good right now, but I think there's also a lot of internal fortitude that Joel checked over this offseason and came in as a different beast also.
For sure, Greg. Real quick, you know what else is funny that I expected tonight? I haven't seen in the chat, and it just shows that we get smart basketball people that come in here and smart sports fans, because I haven't seen people upset that they blew a lead and a big one.
It's true.
People see the real people see the big picture. Like, I really thought I was going to have to fight people off tonight because I opened the show saying I don't give a rat's ass if they blew a lead in the NBA game. I care if they finish. Right? Because you lose games, you blow leads. It's the NBA. Everybody makes a goddamn run, and the Wizards made a hell of a run tonight. Credit to them, but better basketball teams and the damn good ones close games out in the fourth quarter. And when everything was tough and the palms get sweaty, right, and guys get a little nervous, right, and you need the deodorant on, is when the Sixers took over tonight.
Absolutely.
And that's what
going back to the the Joel and Jokic thing. Listen, man, I never the whole thing of, oh, I'm not worried about that guy, or I don't have that game marked on my calendar. I'm not looking. Listen, dude. Okay, it's been 3 years now with Joel and Joker, and it just started, rising. The flames are getting bigger now between those two. Who's the best center? Is it Joel? Is it Jokic? Jokic is a better passer, but Joel's a little bit better scorer. But Saturday, dude, if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm locked in, and from the start that I saw that schedule, I have that game marked. Okay. Yeah. And I can't wait.
For the Joker?
For an NBA fan, I can't wait to watch that game on Saturday.
You think this dude lives for this shit?
Absolutely.
If you ever wanted, if you ever wanted to put yourself into a player, it would be Joel Embiid. Like this personality, like the want the big matchups, the want the spotlight. Has it always worked out for him? No.
7'3". I like to walk around 7'3" a couple times.
Yeah.
Walk between your legs.
Just see how different it is,
That's what you like. You like the model, the IG model. Sports
Doesn't hurt.
I know what you like. But
what up, baby?
Like, all them things is what we want in our players. And he's had some moments here where it's like he looked disinterested, like last year, and we weren't happy about it. But I love his rebound this year from it. And I think if there's a guy who embodies the city and embodies these big matchups, it's Joe. And he's definitely got it marked on his calendar, Ralphie. And he's definitely waiting for it. And he's probably got, He's got the Heat marked on his calendar, and
Absolutely.
and he's got all this stuff around him that is what young guys need. Like, you have to mature, right? And he's matured. So, like, not perfect. I'm sure he's not perfect, but with veterans around you, it helps you get closer to that maturity level you need to be able to win and win in the playoffs. Simple. Young guys don't win in the playoffs. We talk about it all the time. Like, not. I'm not talking about just win playoff series. I'm talking about getting the finals and winning finals. Like, young guys don't do that. So you need vets, and it's like the perfect situation. Like, Brett Brown was never in the finals as a head coach, so he's going to get you there. No, but Doc has, and you don't have to love Doc and think he's the smartest guy ever or created basketball, right? But you can say to yourself, all right, he's been there, right? Mm-hmm. Other guys on this roster have now been there. When you look back at our roster last year, the year before that, who's been there? Bellinelli? Grow up. You know what I mean? Like, nobody of any substance or significance has ever been there either. Now you get a bunch of young guys. Tobias, we crushed Tobias before, but he was always on losing basketball teams outside of the Clippers one. So you got to give him a chance to grow and to learn what it takes to win a little bit. But having winners around you helps that. Having a coach that knows what it takes. And that's why Tobias had his best year with Doc, right? So all these things are a spider web in the success, right? And it's what needed to happen. And Brett was a great man, like a good man. Players loved him. But the accountability is never going to be there at times for your child, right? Like it should. And these guys were his kids. So sometimes your relationship's so close that, the only way that these kids get over the hump is by breaking it off. And that's what happened. And thank you. Let's go.
By the way, anybody watching the Heat Celtics, Pritchard just stole one for the Celtics.
I did not.
Or stole a game.
What?
Stole the ball or stole the game?
Stole the game.
Well, we knew that was coming from Miami. I mean, the writing was on the wall.
And Tommy, you're right about the veterans too, because in the past, the veterans we've had never played significant roles, right? They were just guys.
I was just about to say that.
They were just guys. Yeah. Now you come in, Seth Curry's a starter, Danny Green's a starter, Dwight Howard is the first guy off the bench from the big, right? Now a guy like Tobias, who's been around, doesn't have to feel like that he is, as you mentioned, the guy, right? He could just be a role player because these other veterans now that are on this team have all been there before. Danny Green's won championships. Dwight Howard's won championships. Seth Curry's been a pro in this league and has been in the playoffs.
It matters. Like, you think people just think you draft the guy number 1 overall, and here you go, and here come the finals, right? Like, it's just not how it works. Like, it's just usually not how it works. Mm-hmm. And you're watching number 1 pick of this year's draft come off the bench for a bad team, and he drops like 20 a night. But
he's playing well.
Yeah, it's not like he's coming off the bench because he's not good enough. He comes off the bench because you're easing a guy in because you didn't get. It's hard for rookies. Like, even though you might come in and score, other things aren't all there yet, right? You see LaMelo coming off the bench for Charlotte, right? So you see these guys like ease their way in because you just don't win in the NBA when you're a little baby.
Yeah.
And I know somebody just said, Tristan said, would we be 4-4 with Brett? Maybe not if we had this roster. There's no way of knowing that. But I'll tell you one thing: we wouldn't be 7-1.
No way in hell.
No way.
We might be 5-3.
Yeah,
right,
at best. Yeah, because you had those close games. Because like you look at tonight, for example, we're giving up that big lead. You don't have that resurgence in the fourth like you did tonight. Probably if Brett Brown's here.
Probably not.
Because the trait of not only giving up the big leads in the third or even the fourth quarter last year was also followed up by not being able to have a resurgence after giving up the big lead. It was kind of like once we gave up those leads, we were done. We were snake bitten. And how many games that we came up in starting at the beginning of the year where we kind of, we didn't start off too good, but we had great fourth quarters. We never saw that with Brett Brown. We never did.
You talk about 5-3 is fair because it's probably where they would be.
Yeah.
They'd probably be there because they're still a good basketball team. It's not all coaching on 7-1. Let's be real. Like, a lot has to do with Doc, sure, but players play, and our biggest thing was accountability and some veterans who know how to play the game too. Like, when you're calling plays out there, it's a combination of your players, your coaches. You know what I mean? So you need all that stuff to work. So
I'll tell you what, though, to me, I think as far as comparisons in moving the needle between last season and this season, I think the biggest thing aside from Joel Embiid has been, and I want to ask you guys, tell me the last time Tobias Harris looked this comfortable in a Sixers uniform.
It's been a while.
He looks so freaking comfortable.
Well, when you have guys around you too, that makes you more comfortable. Yeah. When you don't feel like all the pressure's on you, you know what I mean? And you're playing with a guy who, your game translates in his system.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you look better. It makes you look more comfortable, to your point, right? And him playing the 4 makes him look more comfortable, obviously, like we knew. But listen, like I said, it's when you're winning stuff, like when you're winning games and you're playing this good in any sport, right? It's like it becomes everything. Like when we talk about the Eagles and everything, everything's the reason you have 4 wins. Well, everything's the reason you have 7 from the players you brought in, from the players you have, from coaching to your assistants, because you have a team that looks like they're having fun.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. So like, you have a guy in here who's going to treat guys like men, right? You already know that's fine. You know what I mean? That's not going to be an issue, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but you have a whole roster full. You have a whole coaching staff full of that. But you look at this team on the bench and it looks like they're having fun. It looks like they're having fun in the game. It looks like guys are playing for each other. It looks like guys all like each other.
I was just about to say that. You looked the other night, like when Paul Reed got his first bucket, the whole bench is going nuts for Paul Reed, right? You know what I mean? Like his first action of the year. And I know that's, but when you look back at the teams we've had before, they didn't always look like this.
No, they weren't.
You know what I mean? They weren't this loose either. There was always always felt like they were walking on eggshells. Like it was, all right, Corky's in the game. Let's wait for him to screw up so we can yell at him and get him out of the floor, right? or now we go down the roster and these guys are cheering for the literally the 15th man coming into the season, and that bodes well going forward.
Greg, there was no offense ran. Players don't know that. They didn't run no goddamn offense here, right? It was dribble handoffs. Dribble handoffs.
The dribble handoffs to J.J. Redick in 2017. That was basically your whole offense. Come on, find J.J., dribble handoff, and hope for the best.
So friggin' repetitive. It was like, Jesus, of course they could defend it good because they're clogging the lane, and it was the same 3 plays.
But you're seeing a combo of things. You're seeing a dribble handoff once in a great while. You're seeing pick and rolls, right? You're seeing one-on-ones. Right, you're seeing a little bit of everything. You're seeing just constant movement, right? You're seeing great ball movement, right? Great ball movement starts with unselfish players, but players that buy in to what Tobias said, Doc said day one. Like, you got to be unselfish. Like, if you want to win, you got to be unselfish, and you have to put egos to the side. And there's no better time to say that right now to our 2 stars too. Now, one, they both passed the ball extremely well to begin with, right? So he's getting a bunch of guys who, in my opinion, are unselfish guys, right? Tobias, Joe, Ben. They're not guys who need to shoot 40 a night. They're just not who they are. So you have these unselfish guys, and you add 2 shooters around them, and then that equals ball movement. Like, hey, I thought Brett Brown should have good ball movement. He came from San Antonio. All they fucking did was move the ball. You know what I mean? Like, what did you learn there?
He must have been looking the other way.
He's looking the other way. I mean, he must have been on the Riverwalk the whole time. You know what I mean? He was just in the city. He was
coaching via Skype call. He wasn't in that damn arena.
He was Back to the Future, or you know what I mean?
Look at what Matt Spillane said, though. I mean, if that's true, holy hell! First time since 1986, Sixers had 6 different guys score 17 or more in the same game. I mean, just think about that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The ball. I can't say it enough. I mean, everybody watches it. And that's why you have these guys in double figures, right? So think about this, right? Then go, Frank. And I know you got something. You're never gonna if you don't move the ball, you don't have this, right? If you're not unselfish, you don't have this. But I guarantee you something. I guarantee everybody's happy tonight. I guarantee all these guys are happy. They all had good nights. They won a basketball game. Ain't nobody upset. People think the wrong things. Like people are happy they got to win. Everybody, listen. You think Ben ain't happy? You know, he had 17 tonight. You know what I mean? Who do you think's upset tonight? Who would be upset? Tobias, maybe because he missed 2 free throws.
Dwight, maybe because he got teed up and he was on, and the refs pissed him off. But that's it.
I'll tell you one guy who's very upset tonight, and that's Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
60 points in the L.
We
saying, give me John Wall back. Give me John Wall.
Yeah. Cole says we're averaging the most passes this season. We did do that. I forget what year, but we moved the ball extremely well. I think it was
2017.
It was before Jimmy. It was before Jimmy and Tobias trade. We moved the ball extremely well, and then we traded it all around. Remember when we had we actually moved the ball well, and then we stopped. We stopped that real quick, and then we made the deal.
And to that point, all your starters had at least 3 assists.
Yep.
You had 33 as a team, and all your starters had at least 3. And Shake had 3, who played the next amount of minutes.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Out of the top 5.
What did you have, Frank? Were you going to say something before that?
Oh, no, I just said that was a great, crazy stat line.
Oh, the passing? Or
yeah,
all of it.
15 or more.
What's this? It's in 86. They had 5 guys do 15 or more. Tonight they had 6 guys do 15 or more. Green was the bottom guy of that with 15. And then a good night. Because, exactly what you need him to do. Hey, hit some open threes, play good defense, be a leader out there, pass the ball well. Like, he's unselfish. Like, these guys give each other good looks. Like, that's the bigger thing. You're not going to score if you're not getting good looks enough, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so everybody compliments each other so well, right? Like, you're not getting this production from Ben if the lane's all fucking clogged up because nobody can shoot the ball. You know what I mean? You're not getting his production. You're not getting 7. You're getting 17, but it feels like a hard 17. Did Ben seem like he had a hard 17 tonight? Like where he really had to work for 17?
I was just going to say, we talk about how quiet Shake Milton's 19 was. When I looked at 17, I'm like, damn, that felt like 12. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like where did 17 come from?
Like 38? Look at that.
Like we were saying earlier, in the first quarter, guys, Joel Embiid had 1 point. He finished with 38. Yeah. He had 37 points in 3 quarters.
That's incredible.
He took the first quarter off. He took it off.
Right, that's the Joel Hurt years, right?
Yes.
Where it was like he played 19 minutes and have 24 points, and you're like, the guy's scoring over a point a minute. Like when he plays 37, like he did, and then when he played at night, 37, 38 points. Oh,
he's not a man. He's a machine. He's
Joel
not a man.
had back-to-back nights of half nights. You know what I mean? Playing Charlotte and being out by the second and a half quarter. So maybe it took a little bit to get his legs tonight.
That's why, Tom, that's what, like we were talking earlier, like, Joel had to play a lot of minutes. It's fine. He'll be fine tomorrow because he took the entire first quarter off. You know what I'm saying? He opted out of the first quarter.
He sat it out.
Yeah.
He says, I love how Doc switches from playing through Joel, then Ben, and even Seth. Yep. And even Tobias, Keith. Like he plays through these guys. It's not just like, it's funny because I think it was the end of the third. It's the end of the third. And we really needed a bucket because they were really making that run back, right? And Tobias, I think Maxey had the ball, and you heard Doc yell, Tobias. So he gave it up to Tobias. There was 7 on the clock, right? In the quarter to go, and Tobias goes 1-on-1 and hits a big jumper, right? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, knowing your guys, knowing matchups. Like, I don't know who was on Tobias in that matchup, but he probably felt like he had a good 1-on-1 matchup. Let him go to work. And listen, man. Woo. I mean, what we've been through for the Eagles, I feel like I'm already on broad. You know what I mean? My tent's already on there. Not probably a good place to be right now, but my tent's there. You know what I mean?
I was saying the other night, I got Hinkie excitement again, and we were losing at that point. You know what I mean? We were losing, but my excitement for Hinkie.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg. I mentioned your Sammy earlier. That's what I want to tell you. I mentioned Sammy earlier.
Did you?
He wanted to beat you up down low a little bit, right? Go ahead. Sorry. I was
just saying the correlation with Morey and knowing that you have a guy that's able to build a team like this, and what we kind of hoped that Sam was going to be able to turn that into. It's like that's that excitement of waiting through that shit to get to this point, and now
we're here.
Hopefully, it continues to roll.
We here now. Joel says it. It was Bertans. Okay, so that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why you would want to. That's why you would run that play through him. So it's like the little things, right? So it's all the little things that make you a better basketball team. John says, is the return of Furkan worry anyone? No, because we had 24 points over bench tonight. Like Maxi's a puppy, so you can't expect like every night he's going to be in double digits for you. It's not fair. It's not fair to ask for. Okay, and you can't expect Dwight to like score nightly. Like you can't expect it. The only guy that you need, scoring is Shake, right? Like right now. Like think about it.
Second guy's got to be Furky.
You need Furky if he can give you double digits.
He has the second highest upside off the bench as far as scoring and shooting too. It's Shake and Furkan. Maxey, I love that Maxey. He was 3 of 5 the last couple games. Like I love that, but he's not a lockdown shooter yet. And he's going to get his time. He'll end up probably average anywhere from 9 to 11 points this year, which is great. We would take that from a rookie off the bench when we had no offseason really, and we didn't even know how much he would play. So like we'll take that, but somebody that can, provide 3 or 4 threes coming off the bench for you, maybe, once every 5 games, get you 15 or 14, something like that. That's for kind of Korkmaz. Shake's going to go anywhere from 16 to 20 a night, on his average nights. And again, right now, what was that?
Facts.
So I was just reading.
Oh, okay. Oh, just but it's like I said, as much as I pick on Furkan, I'm like, I've said in the past week when we haven't had him, I've said like Furkan who, but it's the truth. Like he's somebody that he's not a lockdown shooter, but he's going to be reliable.
He shot 40% last year. So if you think of what's coming off your bench, outside of Shake, nothing else is shooting 40% from 3.
No, and the only other. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying Maxey's only recently started to at least be willing to take it, right? I think he attempted a couple in the back-to-back with Charlotte, which to me was a bright spot, right? He got his feet wet, getting to the hole, but now it's a little harder to get to the hole because people are sagging off of him with his speed. Now you step out, you willingly take the jumper. Now you got your burst back. Right. Yeah, so that's a good development side from Maxey there.
And the only other person scoring wise, especially from 3 that, somebody that can provide something, and he's obviously hurt right now, but it's Mike Scott. And Mike Scott's okay. Like he'll give, like, I know, Big Moose in the comments on YouTube just said, Mike Scott's not a scrub, and he's not a scrub, but like he's a guy, man. Like sometimes if you can get 2 or 3 threes out of him, then you're really happy.
Well, you only had 3 threes out of your whole bench, and it all came from Shake. Yeah. So like Furkan has a big part on this bench. It just does. I mean, if people don't have to like it or not like it, doesn't matter. I mean, you need guys to come off your bench and hit and can give you some instant offense. And nights where Shake doesn't score, maybe Furkan does. We talked about this team already. Over this sample size, we've witnessed different guys stepping up to win games or found different ways to win games. That's what the sign of a good team is. A sign of a good team is like when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs this year, or you talk about the Buffalo Bills in the NFL, right? They can play. What game do you want to play with them, right? Like how do you want to play? Because they can play right with you. You want to go a little low scoring and play tough? Well, we'll play that game with you. If you want to get in shootouts, we're here to party too. So that's what good teams do. And tonight's a party night, right? Tonight's like the Lamper, right? Hey, a lot of Joel Embiid, right? You know what I mean? You get a lot of player names getting yelled over the PA tonight, and you got to be able to win games like this.
Well,
you got to be able to win the tough games that you won earlier on this year, where you got to get aggressively Ponzi. It's the only night that they didn't play good defense per se, and it's only because Bradley Beal is going to do this, and great players are going to do this, where they're going to drop 40 or 50 on your ass and make it look like you can't play D. But guess what? He dropped 60 and they lose. I'll say it again. Most teams don't lose when guys drop 60 or better yet, 50. Most teams don't lose. Guy dropped 60 and you felt like this whole game, though, outside of Bradley Beal, you were in control. That's the craziest thing about it.
Yeah.
You felt, even when they came back and we were like, they might lose, you still felt like you're in control.
Yeah, we never got to like the panic mode where we would once again in past years. You know what I'm saying? In past years, if we were up, let's say 21, and the Wizards last year cut it down to 7, we're freaking running around the house panicking. Oh my God, it's over. It's over. They cut it down. I mean, they took a lead at one point.
Yeah.
And we were nervous. We were like, what are they doing to us? But we were never like you said, Tom, nobody in this chat, nobody here opened up the show or at any point during the show said, oh yeah, they won, but we're pissed that they gave up the lead. No, because that's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it was in the third quarter, and we reestablished dominance in the fourth, starting with Bradley Beal because we only allowed 3 points from him in the fourth. Like a guy who had 59/60, depending if you want to count the last point, it's the truth. He had 3 points total in the fourth.
And you know what the funny thing is? Like we were talking about like starters being in double figures and like and the Shake stat like with 6 guys being in double figures or whatever exactly it was.
Yep.
Right, like on the season outside of Danny Green, like everybody's in double figures, obviously.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like the only guy missing from like the being in double figures is Danny Green in your whole offense. I mean, Tobias is averaging, I think, a little over 19, right? Joel's giving you 23. Ben's giving you a little over 13 right now, right? Seth's giving you a little bit over 15, right? Dane's giving you like 7.
What's Shake giving us?
And then Shake's giving you 12. Which is which probably what's expected. So
yep.
you guys see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like so many different guys can score and hurt you. And that's what you need too. You need balance. And now
don't forget
and give you. Let's see. I don't even know what he was.
Which you guys haven't had in a
6.
very long time.
6, Greg.
Yeah.
Very long time.
Don't forget about Dakota Mathias, though. Don't forget Dakota.
Listen, he might end up being my Furcon, by the way, because that guy is a laser. I mean, he's the king of garbage time. I'm like, oh, here comes the garbage time Seth Curry.
Yep. Light glimpse.
I mean, it is silk. It is flat out silk when he's shooting.
The other good thing about this start, right? And if you look at our schedule, in theory, the only quote unquote good team we played was the Raptors, right? So where we used to play down to our competition in the past, this year, we're dominating them.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so where now we start getting into a little bit tougher start of our schedule, Nets, Jazz, right? All these teams coming up.
Maybe.
The Crumb Lakers. Now we're going to start seeing how good we are. And I think we're very good, but it's nice to get and build that start so that everybody can work out this continuity, this cohesiveness, so that when we get into some nut cutting time like tonight, as it sounded like towards the stretch, we're not fazed by anything, right?
Yeah, Greg, real quick before you came on, we gave our predictions for the next 5 games for the Sixers. I want to get yours real quick. So tomorrow you have the Nets, then the Nuggets, the Hawks, and then a back-to-back with the Heat. So what do you think their record could be throughout those next 5 games?
Is Porter Jr. back for the Nuggets?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that.
Okay.
But I know KD's out tomorrow because the whole COVID situation.
I think we'll go 3-2, 4-1.
Gotcha.
I think you call it split with the Heat. I think a split with the Heat, and then maybe because you're overlooking someone, you might lose that one to like the Nuggets or who is the one in between the back-to-back with the Heat? The Hawks, right? They're playing well. They're scoring. So, maybe that's your Cleveland game, right? Maybe the Hawks are your Cleveland game where, you kind of need a night off, but everybody showed up.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to Miami.
I know our schedule hasn't been crazy tough, right? But it's still an NBA schedule.
No, absolutely.
But I will say, we beat Orlando in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Fultz being out is going to hurt them moving forward. But in the moment, it's being a really good team.
Sure.
And the Knicks look to be like not a really good team, but a good team, like a better team, an improved team. So
I wasn't saying we didn't play anybody, but traditionally, right?
No, not you. We haven't hit our hard part of our schedule for sure. You know what I mean? But it's like we have had some quality wins,
mm-hmm.
and I guess when you're 7-1 too, it's like shit. Whoever you're beating in this way, right? Because of the ebb and flow of it. It's freaking weird.
Now
it's weird.
I'll ask you guys this, kind of flipping the script, so not negative, but just after this stretch to where they're 7-1. That's where they are sitting today.
Yeah,
correct. Yep, 7-1 and first place
right,
in the entire NBA.
Correct.
So the last hour and 20 minutes, give or take, we've been talking about all of the positives. What's the one thing that you're still concerned about regarding this roster, long-term wise for this season?
I don't know. First off, I don't know where he's telling me that Seth is averaging 17. I don't see that. I'm looking at 15.4 right here. So someone
I'm looking at the same thing.
So,
yeah, I saw the same thing as well.
I want to make sure I'm not going crazy right now because I feel like on the ESPN app they update it right away.
Yeah,
like immediately. So, but Steve, doesn't matter. 15, 17, he's doing extremely good. So what's the one thing we're looking for?
The one thing you're concerned about this team going forward?
Well, the bench. I mean, it's a young bench outside of Dwight and Mike Scott. It's a young bench. So like who's gonna give me production night in, night out? That's my biggest concern. Now, when they all come back, I need to see it. Like they gotta give me, my bench gotta give me 30 a night. There's too many scorers on that bench to not give it to me, but they're a little younger. So we just gotta see how that works out. There's not like there's one vet, there was two vets, Scott and Dwight. Outside of that, it's all young guys.
Yeah.
It's all young guys. So my biggest concern is how do these young guys play night in, night out? Like we see Maxey tonight, granted, what do you play, 11 minutes?
Yeah, only 11 minutes tonight.
11 minutes, got off one shot, 2 points. You're going to have them nights. Then you're going to have 11 minutes where he goes off for 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's going to work for a young guy. But can we see a guy like Shake be consistent? Like, can he be 12 to 14 a night? Can he be there night in, night out and give it to you? Right now he's averaging 12. Can he sustain being in double digits every night? Because he has to be right now with the way this bench is constructed. And that's the big thing. Thibault's not going to score. So, he had 2 tonight. Whoop-de-doo. It was on a dunk. Good look by Joe. Who else is going to score? That's my biggest concern. That's why Furkan's so important. So I would say my biggest concern is bench scoring right now. Not bench defense, bench scoring. Do we have enough? Because some of these other teams might be a little bit deeper than us. But we still, listen, our bench is extremely upgraded, but will that come into play? It might not. Like, I believe a lot in Maxey. I like Shake, and I like Furk. So, I mean, I think there's enough there. I think when Scott comes back, because he's hit or miss too, right? Yep. But I think there's enough where different guys will have good nights while other guys have bad nights, right? So I think there's enough to even it out, but that would be my one worry, right? Because it's hard to worry, but you're right, 7-1. But that's my one worry-ish.
See, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just going to kind of piggyback all the time because you're seeing it now with the loss of Furkan and Scott for extended period of times, right? You lose some of those, and Furkan's young, but at least he's been in the league for a minute, right? I mean, this is Shake's, second year, third year? I think it's Furky's fourth or fifth. But you see, you're absolutely right, Tom, that depth of scoring. Because, Thibault now getting a couple minutes is nice to see, especially like in Orlando when he can hit a couple shots. You're like, all right, maybe there's a couple minutes for you. But then there's other nights where he doesn't even shoot or not, right? My other small, criticism or concern, and I just want to see it more consistently, is Maxey shoot the jump shot. And like I said, it was encouraging to see him shoot the 3-ball the other night. Whether it went in or not, I didn't really care. I was more kind of like with the Ben thing. I want to see you just go in rhythm and rise up and shoot the ball. Yeah. And I think he will. But there's that, and that's going to come with his consistency too, is if he has the jump shot, he's going to be able to get to the rim wherever because he's a lightning bolt, right? If he doesn't have the jump shot, him getting to the rim is going to get blocked off more often than not.
No, yes. You're right.
Yeah, see, I agree. Ted P said earlier, what I'm so impressed by, and it goes into my concern, is that we've been able to start as hot as we have been when we've had, in all honesty, and now you can really say it with Mike Scott being out. The backup power forward position is a literal black hole. There's nothing there. And that was my biggest concern entering the season, and that's why I keep going back to the well with the Ilyasovas, who's just sitting out there in free agency. Like, bringing that guy in there that can bring in a little bit more size and maybe somebody that can bring it, because Ilyasova could shoot it a little bit, and then obviously he's brings in defense. That's taken us over the edge. Because, and again, and what else is he? He's a veteran. He's not some young kid that's going to come in there. Like, I know people were saying, oh, we should get Paul Reed some looks. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a second-round guy. I love Paul Reed. I was happy about the pick, but we can't expect him to come in and be anything other than just a garbage time guy right now.
The only reason I'll like not disagree with that statement, because like, obviously Mike Scott's the other four, right? We have a ton of size, so we don't need like a big four being our other four because of our size of our big men and Ben. You know what I mean? So it's like we almost get away with that in a way, if that all makes sense. But what I'll say is like Tobias's career history, he plays a lot of minutes. So it's like it's almost not like as bad as it is. Like if it was Joe, that's why Dwight's such a big pickup. Because if it was Joe, then I'm concerned there's nothing behind you. When you talk about Tobias, he has a history at this point, a ton of minutes. So I wouldn't expect anything else. And I think what Daryl thought and what Doc thought coming into this was like, all right, he's going to give us a lot of minutes. Can Mike Scott give us 10 off the bench, right? And just bring some veteran, maybe hit a three, whoop-de-doo, or whatever. And he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He'll play defense, whatever. And I think that's how they look at it, honestly. That's why we talked about it before the year started. I didn't think they were going to go get somebody else for the four. Because Ben's almost their other four. He's just never listed there.
Yeah.
And you can, in theory, if you have Ben and, Dwight Howard on the floor, you can essentially, quote unquote, play small because Ben's a guard and still have size on the floor.
Well, and it's funny too. You could see it. I'm not even like take Dwight out of it because you're right. Greg, you can do that. But say Tobias, take him out of the equation. You can, and we've seen this in games for short periods. You can run a lineup out of there with a 5 of Joel, Ben, say Danny Green, Shake, and Maxey. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because Ben becomes your quote unquote 4, and then you've got Danny in there that can shoot, Shake who can shoot, and then Maxey running kind of as your floor general. Because we know Shake and Ben can play together. We know Shake and Maxey can play together, and we know Maxey and Ben can play together.
Levi, I think that's more of a night to night basis too. I don't know if it's actually like 10 minutes every night. You know what I mean? But some nights give you 10. If he's got a hot hand and he's hitting some threes, he's going to play more minutes. You know what I mean? But nights where he comes in and he jacks 3 and he's 0 for 3, maybe you don't give him that much time. Yeah. But guess what? I'm not against Ilyasova or any other 4 if they feel like they have an upgrade. You know what I mean? I want to see.
And real quick, Tommy, going back on your statement with Tobias has been playing all these minutes for his career. I pulled him up. I mean, his early on in his career with Orlando, he was playing 36 minutes for them. So it goes 36, 30, 34, 33, 32, 31, 32, 34, 34, 35, 34, 31. So he's been constantly floating around that 30 to 35 per game minutes-wise ever since he even came into the league.
Yeah, I agree. And he's never had, knock on wood, he's never had the injury history, right?
Yeah.
Where you're concerned about his body breaking down and other things. So that's the only reason I think they can get away with that one, Rye. But again, fuck it. You want to sign me Ilyasova? I think we talked about this like 2 weeks ago. Bring him in. I mean,
another dude that can shoot. Bring him in.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We're not mad about anybody who can stretch it a little bit.
Well, and I would say to your point, Tom, why they can kind of get by without it. Which we've kind of talked about even last year with how it's kind of getting by the regular season and really being built for the playoffs. Well, with the roster shrinking in the playoffs and you not really using all of your bench, well, you just running Tobias out there and then maybe giving Scott, if you even need to, a handful of minutes. That's fine. When the roster shrink and you only start using 7, maybe 8, 9 guys, then we'll be fine with running just Tobias out there. It's about kind of getting by with just the Mike Scotts of the world from now, well, obviously when he comes back till the playoffs. If you can get by with that as having him be the quote unquote backup 4, then you're in a really good spot. And
I'll tell you guys one other thing, talking about the bench and talking about all this. Tomorrow night's got to be like a bench win.
Yep.
Tomorrow night I need 35 plus from my bench.
Well, especially when you look at what's coming on the other side from their bench. You know what I'm saying? Their bench is loaded, the Nets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time loaded. So I mean, you gotta, after your starters playing a lot of minutes tonight, you need a big bench night tomorrow night. So tomorrow night be a great time for Maxey to have his career high. You know what I mean? That'd be a big time, for Maxey and Matisse. Maybe Matisse wants to, give us a 10 spot for a career high.
Give us an Orlando night.
Well, and
do it against a good team.
and I think there's a better chance of that happening because I know historically, and I don't think they've brought in any, I don't think they've made their entire team, an oversized team. They've played more smaller ball over in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I know they have Durant, but Durant's not going to be there tomorrow. And they don't really have any shutdown centers. I mean, Jared Allen's been playing okay. DeAndre Jordan's 50, but you know what I'm saying? One of those games like tomorrow, a player like Shake or Maxey should be able to get after it a little bit. And the big loss, in addition for Durant, for the Nets is not having Dinwiddie. I mean, with them not going to have him, was that a season-ending injury?
I believe it was season-ending, yep.
So, I mean, that's going to kill them. Because he was kind of everyone talks about LeVert, and I love Karis LeVert. He'll probably end up with 29 tomorrow because he always kills us. But, Spencer Dinwiddie was really the glue of that team before bringing in Durant and even bringing in Kyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Maxey steps up tomorrow night and Shake. They both score tomorrow night. It's usually, I definitely think Maxey does because, he had a little slow night tonight. He seems like he's been every other night. Typical rookie. You know what I mean? That's how rookies go through it. He's sort of been every other night. So tomorrow night could be a night where we might need him. Maybe it'd be great if he comes down and drops a 20 spot. Because then we definitely win that game.
What's the prognosis on Furkan?
He will be reevaluated at the end of this week, I believe.
Okay.
I
completely missed that he was out. I was just watching the games. I'm like, where's Furky at?
Weaker, right?
They originally had him out from I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, but then the prognosis ended up being way better. So if everything goes smoothly, I could imagine he's back for the Atlanta game.
And what was Scott's deal exactly?
It's a knee. His is a little bit. It's
bruise, right?
It's right. I thought it was a contusion.
Bruce.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Dr. Greg.
I'm not either. I just stayed in a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Thank you. Perfect layup. There you go.
Love Continentals. Love me a Continental. Get the waffle machine.
The overly dried out eggs, the hash browns. You got to put 10 pounds of ketchup. Except for you, Greg. I know you don't roll with the ketchup. It's fine.
Nope.
Where you get them watery eggs. You know what I mean?
The watery eggs, the dried out fruit.
Oh,
what up, Brandon? Brandon, sorry, brother.
What up, Brandon?
Been far back.
We, according to James Jackson, Westbrook dislocated his finger tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
those are always fun.
Not looking good. I'll tell you what, man.
He has been holding the finger.
I might retract my statement from the first. What was that, Tom?
Did you see what Beal was doing? Cole, Danny Green was holding his finger again tonight because he hurt it. Did you see Beal going after that finger again tonight? It was sort of.
Was he?
It's man, yup. Al was saying it, but it's true. These guys know if guys are a little bit banged up.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect that. But no, I mean, the Wizards are a weird team, man. I mean, they're a team that I think all 5 of us had in the playoffs, correct?
Correct.
We didn't have them, being a 5 seed, but what was that, Greg?
No, it was Ralph's doing the Miz. Correct.
Oh, okay. But, we had them either as an 8th seed, 7th seed, something like that. But, maybe it's to Yusuf's point. Maybe Scott Brooks really does suck. You know what I'm saying? Because they've got too much talent to be, 2-5?
I think 2-6 now.
2-6 now? Yeah, because they were 0-5, 1-2 straight, and then they lost tonight.
Yeah, 2-6.
2-6 with all that talent.
Yeah, but guess what?
For Scott Brooks.
Just don't judge teams till 20 games in, too.
No.
I'm not you.
Come on, Tommy. They
Was
got
this
talent.
Hachimura's first game back? I noticed he's in the box score.
3rd. He came back 2 games ago.
Okay.
No, Ralph, they got talent, but they're, I'm not saying Scott Brooks can't coach. I don't know if Scott Brooks can coach enough. I don't watch enough Wizards games to know if he can coach. I'm just telling you that I don't want to And now it's going to be tough for him, but I don't want to judge that book until like 20 games because it is two new stars trying to play together. You know what I mean? And I want to give that a minute too to be fair to it. Though do they look like a playoff team? Absolutely fucking not. But there's a lot of teams that wouldn't be in the playoffs right now if it ended that are playoff teams. So that's what's weird about it. So I don't want to like overreact 2 weeks into a season or 3 weeks, wherever the fuck we're at, and say like, oh, well, they probably will be a lottery pick. But there's like, I don't want to say the Knicks are going to cut the Nets down. You know what I'm saying? Or Orlando is. So I gotta like, I'm just trying to like find a middle ground. They look like they're not good enough. They look like they don't want to play any fucking defense. Right? That's what they look like, which goes to a bad coach team, obviously. You know what I mean? So that's the look. So Yusuf might be 100% right. I don't watch him enough to know, but I also want to give him 20 games before I say, and they're probably doing it in Washington too. Like, give Scott Brooks 25. You know what I mean? If he ain't getting it done,
Yep. See ya.
Do you guys, so like James, people were asking, who was guarding Beal, and Cole said for some reason Joel was on Beal, and then James Jackson says, am I the only one that thought Ben should have been on Beal from the start? I found it weird that Danny was on Beal and Ben was on Westbrook. The only thing I thought it was weird, but the only thing I can think of, which was Doc's mindset, was just based off of the speed that Westbrook can, you know what I'm saying? Just how explosive he is.
Westbrook would go by Danny Green all day. He's too fast.
Yes.
Too many easy buckets. You want to limit Westbrook with easy buckets. You want to make him shoot. Ben's going to make him shoot. When he does have to shoot, he's going to contest it way more. When he does try to go drive the lane and get to the glass, you get a 6'10" guy altering your shot at the rim. All them things factor in on exactly why Ben Simmons was on Westbrook tonight. And I wouldn't expect him to change because I feel like the second you make that switch, then Westbrook goes off. So you almost pick your poison, figure out how to slow down Bradley Beal, and they did, in the fourth quarter. So, credit to the Sixers, credit to Doc, credit to adjustments, right? And credit to guys with a little bit of 1-2 to get a hand in the grill. You know what I mean? But you're right? I mean, that's an easy one. Westbrook, I like Danny Green, but a little bit older legs. I think Westbrook might go for 48 tonight. You know what I mean? So,
and Danny's not a bad defender, so you're right. Can you slow him down enough? You're right to get around there.
Sorry.
He does. Oh my God!
He runs around like he runs around like the finals got done last night. I mean, he looks like he's
hurting, man. Like he's hurting.
He's like everything's like this. Everything's like this. Like, bro, is your like? It's like your arms aren't moving, but they are moving.
Are you cramping like Lamar, bro?
Like he does. He looks like he played. He looks like he played in like 400 million NBA games. Like his legs are just so done.
Multiple back-to-backs.
Multiple back-to-backs. He went late the season before with Toronto. He probably went late the season before with San Antonio. Before that, he's been nothing but going late into the playoffs his whole career. And then this year, he's got 72 days to the start of the season. I mean, man. Sorry, you should have asked LeBron for a mill for some some of the body armor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was arguing with people in our comments earlier on our post. They're like, Danny looks lazy. I'm like, Danny can't feel his feet. He hasn't felt his feet in 2 years. Leave Danny alone. Leave Danny alone.
Danny just hit threes, baby. That's all you need to do.
And now he's starting to, which is nice.
We just want to hear Ralphie say, Daddy!
Yeah, Ralphie, if the Sixers make the finals and if the Lakers unfortunately maybe sit this one out this year, can you just give it one Danny? Can you just give us one Danny in the finals?
Absolutely.
Right. It's good.
People helping people, Ralph. we appreciate you.
Look at Ciroc. Danny plays kickball without shoes and socks.
Yeah,
the arms are flailing all over the place.
It's like it's not even like the arms are flailing. It's like the shoulders are.
See you, Frank.
A wobble.
Frank, Danny's leg said the same thing this morning. Adios.
See you, Frank.
See you, Frank.
See you, Frank.
Darren says, yo, fellas, Doc's plan was to let Beal go off and not the Wizards as a whole, with Russ being able to facilitate better than Beal and Beal just being a bucket. You'll take 1 versus 5. And
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Darren, because Beal's getting his. You know what I'm saying? Westbrook's somebody that especially here's the thing, guys. Granted, Russell had a triple-double the first night of the season, but Ben did a very good job against Russell. So you're like, okay, well, we're going to build on that. Beal's going to get his, regardless of if it's Ben or Danny, or I know Matisse was on him for a little bit in the fourth, a great block from Matisse, late in that game. It's like, just let him get his 50 or 60 in that matter, because I know before really, and fam at home and guys in here, tell me if you thought the same thing. When I was watching Beal go off, up until they really made that comeback late in the third, going into the fourth, it was kind of like, Danny's, Bradley Beal might end up getting 90, but it might not matter. You know what I'm saying? It felt like one of those games.
Kobe days.
Yeah. Or the, why am I blanking on the kid's name from the Suns?
Devin Booker?
Devin Booker. It was like a Devin Booker game. You know what I'm saying? Where he puts up 80, but they lose by 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those things.
Yeah, and to that point, whoever I don't know if the comment's still up. It is, because outside of Russ's 12 assists, the Wizards themselves had 5, 7, 9. I mean, Bradley had 5 himself, but they had 27 assists. Russ had 12. Bradley had 5. Right, the rest of the team had like 10.
Mm-hmm.
So to that point, you're right. You kind of shut down Bradley or slow down Bradley, but make sure that no one else joins him.
Philly Sports Passion says, does Danny Green sit one of these next 5 games, or Shake or Max get No, because you could see I would rather them just play him in fewer minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of spell him.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Danny Green, I know I've made fun of him, especially when he was in Lakers purple and piss yellow, but he provides too much. He's not a one-dimensional player. He's somebody that can be really good for a quarter and go off for, a handful of threes. And also he's a defensive presence. So, I would much rather you start him. And then if you get off to a comfortable lead, just let Shake or Maxey or Thibault run out there, because Thibault's really been the backup to Danny Green. I would rather them just do that instead of just saying, Danny, we're gonna give you a night.
And you kind of saw that early too. The first 2 or 3 games, he only had about 15 to 18 minutes because he was still kind of working his way back in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, and if we keep winning the way we are, it allows him to sit a little bit more like the rest of these guys.
Yeah, and you saw, I know at least in 2 games for a fact, probably more, but I know for a fact it was 2. Danny Green coming out of the half, he wasn't starting coming out of the half sometimes. Sometimes it was Shake, sometimes it was Thibault. So you can do that. You're seeing a mode now, in this rotation where, Danny Green's going to start games, but you might not see him until halfway through the second quarter after he goes off and sits on the bench, which is fine.
Yep.
Thibault gets his minutes, Shake and Maxey are going to feed off of each other, and it's absolutely fine. And like I said, having a Swiss Army knife kind of in Ben Simmons to where he can play any position, even going all the way up to the 5, it's so important for you. And a guy that it's not like in the past, say Simmons is gone, where you take off Danny Green and your entire defensive presence is gone. Well, Ben Simmons is going to provide that. Matisse Thybulle is only going to provide that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a defensive liability like a Redick, or, a Furkan in bigger minutes like you would in the past years. So that's important. Philly Sports Passion says, Ben, will he be on Kyrie tomorrow? I would imagine so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Let me look at their starting 5.
I was about to pull that up myself.
It's going to be interesting to see what you guys do tomorrow.
Because I know without Durant. Say that again, Ralphie.
I said it's going to be very interesting to see what you guys do to at least slow down Kyrie tomorrow.
Well, let's see. I'm going to look at – so they played last night against the Jazz, blew them out. Jazz stink, by the way. Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Jazz – well, I mean, Donovan Mitchell's kind of overrated.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's, 10 for 22. People were saying that's good sometimes in the league. Not me, but some people.
They have 5 guys playing over 20 minutes now that Dinwiddie's out, right? So you got Durant, Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen.
Gotcha.
TLC is just under at 19.5.
Jesus.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
What are you doing there? What are you doing there?
Uh,
Torian Prince, I know he got the start last night without Durant.
let's see what their box was last night.
So you're looking at a starting
So their
five.
starters were Jeff Green, Torian Prince, Jared Allen, Kyrie, and B. Brown. Who's that?
Bruce Brown was starting?
Bruce Brown started last night.
What did Kyrie have last night?
29, 12 for 19, 5
29
for
and
7 for
30.
I mean, we all know Kyrie's going to get his. It's just a matter of fact of just slowing him down in crunch time.
Yep.
And if that's putting, last 5 minutes of the game, and if that's putting Ben on him and hoping for the best, then so be it.
But, without they played the Jazz, but without Durant, Kyrie had 29, LeVert had 24, and then Jared Allen 19, Joe Harris 10, and TLC had 11.
And I'll tell you right now,
But that's also in 100. That's also a 25-point blowout, right, or 35-point blowout.
Jared Allen's not, I know he did it against Rudy Gobert. He's not doing that against Embiid. If Embiid sees regular minutes, he is not doing that against Embiid.
Nope.
You might see DeAndre Jordan try and stop Embiid before they go to Jared Allen, because Jared Allen's career has been eaten alive by Joel Embiid.
Yeah. Darren, thanks, brother. Thanks for chiming in. Listen, Friday nights, we have a show called Fan Friday where you can call in on Friday night. So make sure you tune in one Friday. We'll definitely try and get you on.
So going back to Philly Sports Passion's question on, kind of looking at a little projection. And I know it's, it could intertwine depending on matchups and stuff, but I guess Simmons would go on Irving just because there's no other, big time force in that starting. I mean, unless he would go to Torian Prince, but I feel like Tobias would be on Prince.
Well, Tobias would probably be on Jeff Green.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Embiid's going on the center.
What's Torian? 6'7". So you could put Danny Green on Torian.
Yeah, Danny Green's what, 6'6", Danny?
6'6".
Yeah, he's 6'6" and play. Does he play the 3 for you guys this year?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Seth would go Bruce Bowen or Bruce Brown or whoever this guy is.
Bruce Bowen.
You know what? If it came down to it, I'm putting Ben on Kyrie.
Yeah,
I'm putting Ben on Kyrie for the whole entire game.
Because really, other than LeVert, who's coming off of your bench tomorrow, if you're the Nets, and maybe Harris, there's really no other.
Which I kind of agree with you. What you're questioning, like that's kind of a strange. You have Karis LeVert coming off your bench. I mean, it must be. I wonder if it's one of those things where they're just looking at matchups, right? Kind of like with Shake, right? Where Shake, in theory, could probably start.
Yeah,
but like, hey, let's get him against, a second team more often, right?
Yeah, it's basically having a guy like Kyrie Irving running the team and being the floor general for the one team, and then LeVert running suit for the other. You know what I'm saying? And in spots, this is why Dinwiddie and LeVert would come off the bench a lot in the past. It's because it would be your superstar in Kyrie, or in this case, your superstars when fully healthy in Durant and Kyrie, for the quote unquote first team, and then your second 2-man game is a combination of Dinwiddie and LeVert. So it's the Doc Rivers kind of aspect. I know he didn't invent it, but it was kind of like what they would do in Los Angeles, to where your two best players for a while before you got the Kawhis and Paul George. It was, Harrell and it was Lou Williams. They both came off the bench. It was having a well-rounded team instead of having a top-heavy team like we saw with the Sixers for so many years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct, Sam. We've got it's TNT. We got a TNT game tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I should probably be on the same stream as you guys.
Yeah. Yep. Hey,
You'll be right there with us.
It'll be cool because we'll get to, not that I take the words of these guys, as gospel, because like people were saying earlier, like the national media, they're, you see it, Barkley and Shaq, while what they say about Embiid and Simmons are correct, you see them kind of getting carried away a little too much. Yep. But I mean, obviously if they win tomorrow. I really want to see what the guys have to say about it on the show tomorrow. But just period. I mean, they really can't have too many bad things to say about Embiid and Simmons and this team starting 7-1.
I agree.
I really want to see what they would have to say, especially Embiid looking like. I mean, if the season ended today, I know we're talking about an 8-game sample size, but he's been unbelievable this year.
Yep, and I agree. I always love. I know some other people, continue to watch, Zoom off and Ala, and they're great. But I do love listening to the national broadcast. You're right, just to kind of get the talking points from them, right? Obviously, they do their research before they come in and do our game, but to get their talking points and to see their reactions is always something that I enjoy with a national game.
So let's do this real quick because James Jackson says tonight is the night of injuries. I guess De'Aaron Fox has a hamstring injury and won't return for this game. I have all the scores, and some of them are still in the moment, so where we'll be keeping an eye on them. Especially, you got Raptors Suns that's coming to a close here.
What's the score of that game?
113-99 Suns.
Let's go, Big Phoenix. I'm telling you, you better watch out.
Raptors are a travesty. But we'll go one by one here. I'll give you guys the scores from tonight.
Santa Claus is coming. Oh, sorry, we're over that.
Yeah, well, not for Ralphie. Ralphie, do you still have the lights up in the room?
No, I do not. I took them down.
We still got our lights up.
You
still got your lights up?
Yeah, Christmas is tomorrow. The Orthodox Christmas that my family celebrates, so we actually do leave them up and quote unquote. I mean, we don't really do much, but yeah, there's a Christmas tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So I'll go through the teams, and if you guys or the fam at home want me to go more in depth, I'll look at the box scores and all that stuff. Just let me know. So the Knicks beating the Jazz tonight, 112-100. Utah 4-4 to start. New York 5-3 to start. Which team would you say out of those two have been more surprising? Utah being surprisingly bad, or New York being surprisingly, they're not a disaster?
I'm going to say, you know what? Just because they've been a disaster for almost as long as I've been living, I'm going to go with the Knicks. I'm going to go with the Knicks.
And that's tough to argue there. But I'm going to go – it was the Jazz, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jazz just because I know there's people who thought really highly of them in the Western Conference. And the fact that they're bad, for lack of a better word, they're bad.
Yeah.
Is very, very surprising. I mean, the Knicks are playing well. That's not a knock on them. But since Ralphie already went them, I'll go somewhere else.
So you're looking at it, a horrible night from Donovan Mitchell, 8 for 23, 2 of 10 from 3 for 18. Boyan Bogdanović really not looking great. They really missed him in the playoffs, but he's had a slow start of it. Conley, I'm just going to continue to say, Conley does not belong on the Utah Jazz. He does not belong there. He goes, and I'm not just saying based off tonight, but 3 of 14, 0 for 6 from 3 for 9 points.
3 of 14?
3 of 14 for Mike Conley. Wow. And I remember some people were trying to tell us last year, hey, trade Ben Simmons for Mike Conley. Can you get a grip now? Can you get a grip now?
Mike Conley to be like, because
I like Mike Conley as a player.
I do. I love him. And
I don't like Jazz.
There's no shot I'm trading Ben Simmons for him. Holy smokes.
No. And at one point of his career, he was the most underrated point guard there was in the league.
I don't disagree at all.
2 to 3 years ago, he was the most underrated player in the game. And it sucks that Memphis, I know it's a small market team, couldn't really build anything around them. But if anybody in the league deserves a ring or to be on a championship team and have a shot for an NBA championship, it's Mike Conley.
And I'll tell you,
I'm not going to go all there with the love affair of Conley. I do like him. And I do agree with Ralph that it does suck that he kind of got wasted for those couple of years in Memphis. But yeah, I mean, that's atrocious.
So then on the flip side, I'll tell you what, man, and I know we talked about it last week on one of the shows. I believe it was this one, if you could trade for one guy, around the league, and I said Julius Randle. I mean, tonight, for example, shooting-wise, an atrocious night, 10 for 26, 0 for 5, but he got to the line 12 times, and he had 30 points.
Wow.
I mean, Julius Randle is on fire. I know James Jackson said a little earlier, Julius Randle looks like an all-star starter. He's been consistently the best player on the floor no matter who they play, and that's the truth.
Well, that's how he's been since college. He's a worker. He's a
He came back. I was just about to say, I know Tommy's been a huge fan of Julius Randle, and even going into last season, he's one of those guys where I would have given money to.
Yeah, I said that, remember? And what draft was he in? With what players? Was he in the fold?
2000. No, he was like 2014, 2013.
The Embiid draft,
Yes.
I believe.
We selected him at, I think, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
The Lakers did.
Yeah, and I was even like, man, if it wasn't for, if he came out in a different year, you love him. You love him earlier.
Yeah, that was the Embiid draft, exactly, 2014.
But he's gotten better every year.
No,
Tom,
he has.
Tom, I'll ask you because I'm running through all the games tonight. We're kind of giving our biggest takeaways from each. Which is more of a surprise to you? The Utah Jazz going 4-4 and really not being good, and Mitchell struggling, or New York having some semblance of a team right now?
My bigger surprise. It's funny because I'm not a big Utah guy. I'm not a big Donovan Mitchell guy, so it's like not even like a surprise to me. So it's got to be the Knicks then.
Okay.
It's because you didn't think they were ready to win games. I mean, we just saw them.
Right.
We clamped down on everybody but Randall, but they didn't look like they were ready to really compete and win games. But sports are funky.
Mm-hmm.
Sports are funky. They have a good coach, right? They're gonna play tough, and they're probably gonna be a team that might not be in the lottery anymore. Going in that direction. But they don't have that star, and that's what's gonna hurt them. But they got a guy like Julius Randle who's playing like a star. So yeah, Mitchell doesn't shoot good enough for me, James. That's the bigger thing. It's not even about giving Rudy the money. He's a good defender, great defender. I mean, but like Mitchell is good. He's really good, but his shot's a little to me. I don't know. They don't have the best team either.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you this too. I was saying it earlier. Just listen to these two stat lines with Mitchell and Conley tonight. Mitchell, 8 for 23, 2 of 10. Conley, 3 of 14, 0 of 6.
Yeah, it's volume. I mean, Mitchell, a lot of it is volume bullshit.
Yep, he shoots himself out of games. That's what he did a lot in his rookie year.
Yeah, he's still doing it. Still making them same mistakes. You talk about accountability, and it's something you see from Devin Booker. In the Suns, where it's like they move the basketball now. Mm-hmm. It's not just the Devin Booker show anymore. You know what I mean? They move the basketball. They get guys involved. They become unselfish, and that's the better teams. It's always going to be the better teams. People can say whatever the fuck they want. If you watch the Warriors through them years, man, it was unselfish basketball, right? If you watched, if you watched the Lakers last year, it was unselfish basketball. It was guys willing to pass it up for another guy to hit an open shot, right? And that's why you win championships. When you watch all them Spurs teams, unselfish basketball. Like to win it all, you need unselfish basketball. They go hand in hand. So when you have volume guys, a lot of times you're not going to win. Like Steph. Okay, you say Steph's a volume guy. I disagree because his volume is efficient, and his volume he is an unselfish guy. He just when he's in his zone, he'll stroke it. But you know what I'm saying? That whole team was built upon like, hey, they moved the basketball better than anybody in the league. That's why they won it. They always played for the next shot, and that's what separates you. And when you bring it back to home with the Sixers, right? Unselfish, leading the league in passing, and that's why you're 7-1. You want to be good. You put the egos to a side.
Yep.
Jordan put his ego to the side when he actually started winning in Chicago, right? You put a little bit of the ego to the side in terms of all about me. And that's what takes teams to the next level. James Harden never going to win because he's fucking cousin volume. And cousin volumes are never going to win.
Yeah. No, and Tom, you're absolutely right. And you're starting to see that with this team here, right? You're starting to see them look for that extra pass, make that extra pass on the swing around to make the defense go even further, for a guy who's now even more wide open for an open shot. Like, not to get, too far ahead of ourselves, but you're starting to see those same characteristics come out already in 8 games.
Well, fuck yeah. I mean, Seth Curry's brother fucking is all and father is all about probably being unselfish in addition to basketball, right? Danny Green's been around it everywhere he's freaking been, even in Toronto. When Toronto won it, everybody says Kawhi. Yeah, Kawhi was a huge part of why they won it, but they passed the basketball.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They weren't. It looked selfish at times, but it wasn't. It was efficiency from Kawhi, but they moved the basketball there. So I mean, all these guys you're bringing in. Dwight was just with it and with the Lakers. Like everybody you're bringing in it ties all back to it. I know we're talking about around the league, but they're the best team in the league right now. So everything you talk about ties back into what they're doing well. So the recipe for success is easy if guys continue to not let egos get involved and let wins and losses matter, because wins and losses get you. I'm real people. Wins and losses get motherfuckers shoe deals. Championships get you endorsements. So I don't care if you're the 10th guy on the roster. And championships get you endorsement deals. So you can put the egos to the side. Championships get you extra money, not only from endorsements but for bonuses inside your contract anyway.
Well,
for book tours.
Well, and not only that, you're
right now.
You're getting extra money in your next contract, Tom. You know what I'm saying? Because you're bringing in
loss from somebody else, right?
Yes. Because not only are you getting that because you won a championship, but you're on TV for 2 months longer than the friggin' Chicago Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Teams that didn't even show up in the bubble. You know what I mean? To where you're
bonuses this year. I think like if you win the finals, there's team building bonuses, obviously. Yep. So it's like,
shares. Yep.
It's a no brainer to buy in, and that
we could look at even Danny Green here. I mean, I know the NBA is inflated with prices, but I mean, who would have thought freaking Danny Green's getting $17 million a year, right? But coming off of a championship and going to another championship team, they're going to be like, yeah, we'll overpay for that guy.
Yeah, like we'll overpay for Seth when his contract's done here if we win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe rightfully so, but it's funny. TTP says the Curry family is unreal. Literally best shooters basketball ever. And listen, it's pedigree talk, right? Dad was a shooter. Listen, kids got the ball in the hand early, and they're Larry Bird drilling, right? But what I'm going to say to you is I'm going to tie it into football for 1 second because we're not going to go off on this shit. But that's why you draft Patrick Surtain in the first with the 6th pick if he's on the goddamn board for the Philadelphia Eagles, because Daddy played the same goddamn position. He was backpedaling through cones at freaking 2. So pick him and go to bed. But doesn't matter. But no, TTP, you're spot on. And Seth is so efficient, and this situation is so perfect for him.
Yeah.
So
I laughed at places, especially schools, that didn't recruit Seth after watching what Steph did. Right? Like, how do you let Liberty, and I love Liberty, but how do you let Liberty steal Seth Curry's freshman year?
Yeah.
And
right.
then finally, like, oh, he could do that? All right, well, now
Coach
Duke's going, right?
Coach K's like, ooh.
I would have recruited him just off the last name.
Yeah.
And after what Steph did, and David said, like, yeah, we might want to put this guy on our radar.
Yep.
Going to the next game. We saw the end of it here. The Celtics 107-105 over the Heat. Boston starts 6-3, Miami 3-4. Jason, I'll ask you my question for this game. Is Jason Tatum right now a top 3 MVP candidate through 8-9 games?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why anybody would say no. Yes. I mean, he's playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
as much as we hate it.
And the Heat are exactly who we thought they were going to be. At least who I did early on.
Yep.
Where to get their feet under them. Oh, Donovan, appreciate you, Dad.
Oh, thanks, Donovan.
Thanks, Donovan.
Thank you, Patrick Surtain Jr. Thank you. No. Thank you.
Well, thank you for thanking me for thanking you for thanking me.
Yeah, I agree with Levi. Joker, Embiid, Tatum. Right now.
Yes. I'm just trying to think if anyone else is hiding down there, but no, you're right. Off the top of my head, yes. The next game, the Charlotte beat Atlanta. So Atlanta getting off to the hot start. I believe they were 4-0. Now they've lost 4 straight. 4-4 now. Charlotte 3-5. I mean, Charlotte. Gordon Hayward, though, his best 15 for 25, 4 of 9 for 44 points tonight. So that's something there.
24, 25 going into half.
Yep.
Something disgusting from Gordon Hayward.
Never forget what Gordon Hayward did in Utah. I mean, he took a team that had no right going to the playoffs
No right.
So I mean, that team, I still think is going to go to the playoffs because I think they're going to get some things figured out too, because they have enough scoring to go. It's just, can you get some of the younger guys right up to snuff? But I mean, this AC is going to be wide open.
Yeah,
wide open.
It was funny. Speaking of Gordon Hayward, one of my buddies lost a level player parlay because Gordon Hayward missed 1 assist in the game the other night against us. And like once he went out, with 8 minutes left, he's like, I'm 1 assist, really, Gordon?
So the next game, and like we talked about this game, Orlando beat Cleveland 105-94. Markelle Fultz out for the year due to a torn ACL. Cleveland, another team that I believe they started 4-0, 3-1, something. They started really
undefeated too. I think it was 4-0 at one point.
Now they've also lost 4 straight, so they're now 4-4. Orlando's still 6-2, but like we talked about, they're going to be hurting without Markelle. They're really. My guess is they go to now a bigger role for Cole Anthony. They're going to really need him to assume that.
Yeah, he becomes the starting point guard now. Yeah.
I mean, he played 32 minutes a night, so he replaced it real quick.
Yeah.
And they didn't have Fournier tonight. Listen, they're still a really good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still talented. They still got enough scoring. They're still going to be a playoff team even without Fultz. So I still believe they are. I mean, absolutely tough loss.
Then you go to, and I know people were touching on this for the team who lost tonight. Indiana ended up beating the Rockets 114-107. Indiana improves to 6-2. Really solid basketball team, especially like we talked about prior to the year. Having their starters actually all healthy at the same time. Sabonis has obviously been playing really well. Having Brogdon and Oladipo on the court at the same time, that's been really good for them. But then there you look at, people were saying hey, do Sixers fans still want Harden? Because obviously the Rockets, they're 2-4. Looks like people were saying, I know TTP was saying they waited too long to trade Harden because now they really have no bargaining chip now.
Absolutely.
What do you think do you guys think that they're going to still take their time with getting rid of Harden like they've been saying, or do you think really it's kind of an any day basis they're just going to try and get rid of him because as days continue to progress, the value continues to go down, not only because Harden's not really doing great. I mean, he's playing well, but the Rockets just flat out stink.
I think the value for James Harden is always going to be there outside of what we think of him. You know what I mean? He's still around the league, known and thought of as one of the best scorers, if not the best scorer in the league, right? So his value is always going to be there. I think with Houston, it was, can we get you back in the door? Can we get you back in buying into what this team is about? Now, I think Harden's one of those guys, and this is one of those situations where if the phone ever rings and they want James, then he's gone. They're just waiting for that right deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're waiting for the right deal. Of course, they're trying to get enough value back for it, and they're still trying to win right now, even though they stink. So, I don't know what's going to happen there. I think it's something that's going to probably be way closer to the deadline. And if it doesn't get done by the deadline, I think something will be done by this offseason. But their values definitely drops by the day, unless he starts playing really good basketball, which obviously he's capable of. Mm-hmm. So, right. If he starts, dropping 30 a night every night, then guess what? Somebody's gonna want to take him, and he'll get into basketball shape as it goes because he obviously wasn't when he came in. So, he'll get into basketball shape and he'll start scoring and his value will go up. So honestly, I think they waited out even longer because his value isn't high right now, but his value can go right back up. And if he wants out, he'll start playing good basketball. So, you know what I mean? It's a win-win if he wants out.
All it takes is one desperate team, the Nuggets, to make that phone call after a loss. That's all it takes. Hell, that phone call might happen if we say, for example, we beat the Nuggets by 20 points, this weekend, Ralphie. I don't know. Sunday could be coming. We wake up. So I'm telling you, that it makes so much sense because Denver, they haven't been disappointing, but you've seen ultra competitive Western Conference. They lost some pieces in the offseason. You never know. You never know. But no, I mean, I think I wasn't really like, carrying, kind of steering the wagon on the, getting Harden here. But as much as I would love him here for the right price, I can't be thinking about James Harden right now because, like, Tobias has been doing his job. And granted, I would trade those two in 2 seconds if it was 1-for-1, but everything's going right now to where I would be wrong and kind of unfair to what this basketball team has done, currently constructed, being 7-1. If I would say, hey, I'm still thinking about James Harden. If things get kind of weird in the next couple of weeks, then I'll go back to that. But I can't be saying that right now.
If anybody thinks that, period, they didn't just listen to how important ball movement is and how important unselfishness is. You know what I mean? It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it, and he's not that guy. He just isn't. Just isn't. Loves a jack. I think he's a lazy player at times. Doesn't play defense enough. He's got like all the bad qualities you don't want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Philly Sports Passion. He says, do the Knicks go all the way they're playing the way they're playing go all in for Harden at some point if they keep playing good?
Yeah. Yes.
I can see that, absolutely.
Oh, would it be RJ and Julius?
Because that's a way that you can actually bring a guy like Harden and a quote-unquote star to New York without having them have to pick it.
And you would have years of control, too.
And, yeah, you would facilitate an extension and have years of control. But then, thankfully, you would also then have years of now your hands are tied with what you can do.
Well, I don't even think they would have to do an extension right now, Greg, because I think he still has 2-3 years left on his current deal.
And I think so. You might be right.
Well, they got to give him Randall, and I'll have to see what Matt.
RJ.
No, I don't think they want to give him both because they would want to build around something outside just Harden. So they would want to have, they probably want to have Harden and RJ. So they'd probably want to see if they can get it done without doing that. You know what I mean? Or give up RJ and other things and try to keep Julius.
Maybe they want Julius Robinson and 3 picks, something like that.
Yeah, it would be, But it's possible because they're a big market and they've been direct for a while and they got a bad owner. So
few more games. I know these games are currently in progress. It's funny, a week ago we were talking about one team, Ralphie, that they were hot, and that was Sacramento. Well, they haven't won a game since.
Well, that's my mush on them. I said they were my surprise, and hey, sorry.
Yeah,
how you doing?
Started 3-0, and they are 3-4 right now in a close battle in the third quarter against the 4-4 Chicago Bulls. By the way, Tom, did you see that shot by Levine last night?
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
First guy to ever hit a game winner. First guard of all time.
It could come in handy.
I think his running mate's better. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I like Kobe White better. So, I mean,
yeah, he's good. I'll take him.
I always feel about it, and he's younger. So,
then you've got
not young, you know what I mean? But talking about Kobe White's 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
already averaging 16.5 a game, and he's over 5 and 5 in rebounds and assists.
Yeah, you're right, James. De'Aaron being out now is, it's really going to hurt them now, especially because they just gave him a max contract.
But the Bulls do have a lot of young talent. There's no question about it. You know what I mean? I mean, their starting lineup is full of young talent, too. You know what I mean? If you really look at them.
It's so weird because you're right, Tom. On paper, I mean, you look at Wendell Carter, White, Levine. I mean,
Where's Mark? What happened to him? He get hurt?
Who?
Marketing.
Yeah, he's always hurt. He's like the friggin' after the start he got off to, he's been so disappointing. It's like when he's healthy, he's invisible, and when he's not invisible, he's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt again.
So I got a deal to work for the Knicks and the Rockets.
I figured you would.
That's why he was quiet.
Yep, that's why I let him go.
Ralph, that's the biggest fucking swoosh I've ever seen.
You like it though? It's a nice sweatshirt.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I can sleep in a swoosh. I can sleep in a swoosh. I mean, unbelievable.
It's like a blanket.
It's nice and comfy. I got it for Christmas.
Like
Nice and comfy.
Nice Penn State colors for your Michigan State ass.
Yeah. How about we don't bring that up? All right.
Right in there. Right in there. Big against cloud swoosh. Greg, let us know with this mush of James Harden how the Knicks can get him and ruin their franchise.
Yes. And it kind of would. So obviously Julius Randle is their highest paid player. He would have to go.
Yep.
I know they would probably like to try and keep him but he's got to go. He makes the most money.
They want to keep RJ, I'm sure.
And then that's it. That allows him to keep RJ. Next guy in there is Obi Toppin. I know they just drafted him, but they're going to want young talent. So you throw Obi Toppin, throw Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr., and 3 first-rounders.
So Toppin, Julius Randle, and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Because Knox stinks. Dennis Smith, I forgot he's
Dennis Smith's on a 1-year deal, though, at 5.5, though. So it kind of allows them.
His rookie contract, yeah.
Yeah.
They might even be better. The Rockets might even be better. That's not saying much. The way Randall's playing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Randall's at such a high level. But if I'm the Knicks, I mean, if I'm the Knicks and my lack of star power, if I'm a Knicks fan, I probably want that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm probably like, all right, give me all the fucking picks. Don't
right. Yeah.
Nolan's an asshole. He'll fuck this up. So give me all the picks and we'll go from there. Everything unprotected, no protected shit. Right? So if you got a bad year because Harden tears the fucking ACL at 32 and you're drafting 1 overall, it's our pick. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? That's what if you're a Rockets fan, what you're looking for. You'll probably have at least 1 or 2 of them protected in some fashion. Maybe you can get 1 unprotected out of the deal.
The couple of them I used were the Clippers pick, which they knew wasn't going to be high, right?
Okay.
Dallas's pick. So that way the Knicks aren't giving up their own. They're giving up other ones that they've acquired, which are either protected or not high.
Yep. Makes sense. I think both teams I do that deal, right? You're almost forced into doing it for both squads. The Knicks, why not? If I'm a Knicks fan, why the fuck not? I don't even like Harden. But why not? Why not let him and Barrett run together and see what you got? I mean, you don't have much. That's the problem. You fucking
it was so hard to almost come up with that. Without totally wiping out the Knicks.
That might be too much too.
It would be a very Knicks move to make because I know, Ralphie, you and I were talking about it, when the offseason first started, how desperate they were to try to get Paul George to town before Paul George signed that extension. I mean, they would have offered anything, New York, to get Paul George there.
Yeah, and they were also going off at Chris Paul too.
Yeah,
but quick. See, then they would have Quickly still. They would have Rivers. They would have Alfred Payton. You know what I mean? Bullock and Robinson. I mean, they'd still be they'd still be tough, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And they still have young guys, which it's they're not it's old, right? So it's you still got Barry, you still got Quickly, so you still feel young there. Austin scores at will, right? So I mean, I sort of want to hate it if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm giving up everything. Now, if I got to put Quickly in it too, and I start dabbing with guys that I sort of like, and I'm not even a Knicks fan, I'm nah, I don't give a. I mean, Knox is whatever. Give Knox away. I don't care about Kevin Knox. He doesn't have a position in the NBA, in my opinion. Who else is in the deal? Randall. Who else?
The other big
And
one is
Obi
Obi
Toppin.
Toppin.
They don't even freaking play barely.
But he's just your first round pick. So again, you're just selling high.
Yeah, and Dennis Smith. So you're pretty
Smith.
You're pretty much getting rid of your Knicks guys who aren't even playing outside of Randall and Knox. Outside of 56 minutes of their game tonight. That's what you're getting rid of in the moment.
Now, I'll ask you guys, if you're the Rockets, would you rather have that deal or a deal with Gary Harris, Will Barton, Porter, and picks?
I mean, there's no question where the better deal is.
I would go Denver.
Yeah.
Even though, we all know how – what happened, Tommy?
Go, Ralphie. Go.
No, even though you know how it is with superstars, you would like to trade them out of conference so you don't have to deal with them until if you match up in the finals. But if that's the better deal, if that's the better deal that comes to you during that day or during the time, then you got to take the Denver one.
I just don't know if the Denver deal's a better deal.
I just think for the Michael Porter Jr. aspect of it.
I don't know. I mean, Randall's still young.
But only on a 1-year deal, though.
Who?
No, Randall's a 4-year deal.
Julius, I thought he was a rental.
No, I'm sorry, 2 years. 19 mil at 2 years.
You sure he's not a rental? I thought this was his last year.
Positive.
Okay.
Now, I think they extended him, I think this offseason or last offseason when they got him.
Okay.
I forget what the contract was.
Yeah, I mean, I think the better deal might be with Randall and the Knicks. Because you don't know what Obi is yet. Knox like positionless, but he comes in and gives the Knicks quality minutes right now.
Yep.
Randall, is a stud. Like what you're getting there. So at least you're getting something. With the Nuggets, it's almost like I'm not sure what I'm getting. Like I like Gary Harris, but it's nothing to write home about. Who was the other one outside of Porter?
Will Barton.
I mean, I like Will Barton, but I don't know if I don't know if Will Barton's selling me enough to like. I don't know.
You're getting 3 possible starters. You know what I'm saying? Barton and Harris started, Porter started, and to go up, go along with your center and John Wall.
Yeah, but if Porter's not healthy, that deal becomes shit.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. That is the X factor of that deal. Is Michael Porter Jr. healthy?
And this isn't something new. Like,
right.
Well, it is something new, but it isn't something new. So it's like that's what holds that deal up. Randall's playing every fucking night, and he give me 25 a night. Yeah. And if I can compete, I can sell tickets, right? And that's how they got to look at it when they can sell tickets again. You know what I mean? That's exactly how they have to look at it because they don't want to stop competing. They're into this fucking Wall deal. You know what I mean? When's that end?
Yeah.
2030?
3 years from now?
4 years.
Yeah, you're in this Wall deal. I mean, you got to try to still win. Or you just tank with Wall never playing like Washington did. And it didn't work for them yet. I mean, outside of getting Beal, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't per se worked for them.
Or you pull like a Charlotte to where you have Kemba going up for 30 every night, but they're winning they're coming in like 10th in the East. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they haven't even.
It's where I would say this in normal, like when people go back to the arenas, like you would have Wall there for entertainment and ticket sales, but other than that, you would stink. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, hey, come watch John Wall put up 30, but us lose by 20.
Suns again, boys, 6-2. Raptors fall to 1-6.
Damn,
a mess.
And you want to talk about some stats, some fun ones, right? Well, we talk about the Sixers tonight passing the ball and all these guys in double figures, right? You had 7 guys in double figures tonight for the Suns. The lowest was 8 with 11. Bridges with 13. Paul with 12. Booker 24. Crowder 21. Dario 15. Johnson 16. So, you talk about like some of the things you saw in Philly, why you're a 6-2 basketball team. You're unselfish. You guys get looks. I mean, Booker 14 shots tonight. That's no ball hog bullshit.
No.
Chris Paul 12, right? 8 and 8. Bridges 10. Crowder 11. Dario 11. Johnson 10. Simple formula. It's a simple.
It really is.
I'll tell you what, man. You might see the Raptors blow this entire thing up this year.
Well, I mean
you You just gave, sorry, Tommy, but you just gave
Van Vliet all the money.
$100 million or $80 million or whatever it was.
Yep.
Listen, I don't know how they didn't bring back any of their big men. It's a spot that kills them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not getting hurt because of necessarily Van Vliet or Lowry or Siakam. I mean, they're straight getting hurt. They're straight getting hurt at the 5.
They flat out oversized teams. They smothered teams to death. That's why they won.
And the other side of it is Siakam hasn't progressed like they thought he would. He's not bad, but he's not the max player that they thought he was when they signed him.
He's the second best player on a championship team. That's what he is. And that's okay. A lot of teams would take that, but I just don't think he's that cornerstone player that you know what I'm saying? He's not your guy.
Yep.
No, they just built their team and tied the horse and buggy. They tied the buggy to the horse and Van Vliet and Siakam, both 26-year-old guys that they tied it to. So, you know, Fred's 21 a game, almost 22 a game this year. Siakam's like 17 and a half. I mean, that's right where he's like always been.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, that jump hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
That jump hasn't happened. Now, he did have 32 tonight, but that jump didn't happen. But they lost.
The consistent jump. Yep.
And like you said, to your point, Tom, they went from having who are the two? I forget the two centers.
Gasol and Ibaka.
Gasol and Ibaka. They went from that to Aaron Baines and Alex Len.
Yep.
Yeah.
No bench outside
What
of
a downgrade.
And
the only bench production they have. Period. Honestly.
Yep. And they're two big bench guys from the past. Norman Powell, not a good year so far at all. He was averaging like 16, 17 last year. He's been okay, but nothing compared to what they thought. They expected him to jump up. Boucher's been a 0.
Bobby Boucher?
What's his first name? But yeah, he's playing like Bobby Boucher, though, I'll tell you that. Chris Boucher. And then the guy they drafted in the first round, Malachi Flynn, he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's an undersized guard. It's not going to, you know what I'm saying? Like you get rid of all that size, you follow it up with Baines and Len, and then you bring in friggin' Malachi Flynn. And I know he's a kid, but like, what are you doing with Malachi Flynn? You know what I'm saying? I think it on draft night we were calling him like a TJ McConnell light. Same thing.
Whole draft was reaches.
Yep.
Wasn't a deep one.
James Jackson says, out of Siakam, Van Vliet, and Lowry, I would keep Lowry if you're blowing it up because he would be a phenomenal mentor. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think you can get more for Siakam. I don't know what the hell you can get for Van Vliet just because of the contract, but you could definitely get more from Siakam just because of the age.
I mean, you can get a lot for both of them, honestly, probably around the league.
Van Vliet, you're saying? Or
yeah,
Lowry?
He was going to get that money regardless of where he went.
Yeah, Van Vliet and Siakam.
He probably goes, he goes anywhere else and becomes the lead guard. You know what I mean? Where he kind of plays, I don't want to say second fiddle, but he plays second fiddle to Lowry.
Yeah, they're both still like young enough and good players that they're both still getting paid.
Yep.
They were paying for somebody.
We've got a Harden request. He says, "Yep, for Harden, dump the $180 million. Tobias is too inconsistent. I like Maxey though, but for Harden, yep, we have plenty of defense."
Yeah, but Tobias hasn't been consistent though.
No. I was going to say, did you watch the last 4 games? Tobias has been the best I've ever seen him play, ever.
Yeah. And now we're trading him.
That would be typical Sixers, huh? We finally figure the guy out, and then we trade him.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do this real quick and get him in, and then we can work our way out of here. Give me who NFC, AFC, who's going to the Super Bowl?
Oh,
you got to do it before the playoffs start.
Ready? Here we go. AFC.
That's playoff bullshit.
AFC Chiefs, NFC Packers.
Packers, Chiefs.
Chiefs, Packers. Yep.
Who's your other team in the NFC going to going to the championship game.
So your Final Four, Ralphie.
Oh.
No, I didn't say Final Four at the beginning. I was just curious now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Final Four.
Hold on, let me look at the bracket real quick just to see the whole.
He's going to the diagram.
I'll go Bills Bucks.
Look at you.
You would go with your son.
Typical of you. Especially because the Bills, that's that AFC North. AFC East after the Patriots, you know what I'm saying, without Tom Brady.
Just
and
the symmetry is there. The symmetry is there.
I'll go last because I almost want to do a ballsy one. Like I'm taking a major risk, but I just don't want to say Chiefs.
Lamar's getting hurt, bro.
Who?
I said Lamar's getting hurt.
I'll go.
Saying that to me because I almost went there. I almost said right.
When you said ballsy, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's the Ravens.
I'll go Chiefs and Browns in the AFC Championship game. And then NFC Championship game will be the Seahawks and the Packers.
Browns are winning without their coach, Ralphie?
Absolutely. They're playing Pittsburgh, dude. They play down to their competition.
It would be typical, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Bills. Now, can Bills and Chiefs see each other in the
end?
The AFC
Next round. Whoever wins. Well, don't they do the lower seeding plays the high seed in the NFL?
Yeah, but Ralphie, the Bills are a division winner, so it would never be a 1 versus 4 seed in the second round.
Yeah, so you can see each other in the AFC Championship game.
It'll be AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's my AFC title game right there. NFC title game. Packers. I mean, I don't like teams losing offensive linemen. You know what I mean? That's never fun. NFC's weird, right? Like
it is.
It's a straight.
It's really weird.
Give me the Buccaneers versus
oh man,
Rodgers Brady. It makes sense for the NFL. Makes a ton of sense for the NFL. The Packers are winning that football game though. And then in the AFC, I'm going with the Bills. And gun to my back of my head right now, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills are getting their Super Bowl.
0-4.
I would love that.
4 straight Super Bowl appearances, 0-4, and they finally get it done.
I love that. No, Tom,
Josh Allen's just playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
There's a team I'm rooting for around the NFL. It's the Buffalo Bills. It's like if I feel like I'm allowed to root for AFC teams in the playoffs, like
Buffalo.
It's the Browns and the Bills because I like Baker, but it's the Browns and the Bills. But I don't have confidence in the Browns going and winning it. But the Bills can beat you any way you want to beat you, and that's going to be a heavyweight match. If they get to the AFC title game versus each other,
because their defense can match their offense, and that's the scary part.
Yep, their quarterbacks coaches who I want to be our new offensive coordinator, Brian Dable. Because of what he did to Josh Allen, please just keep Wentz and just put him in the same room with Wentz. You know what I'm saying? Because Josh Allen is playing like Wentz should be. Allen is having the Wentz 2017 year. That is what's happening. For the NFC, I'm going to go Saints, Packers, just because I really want to see Drew Brees have to play at Lambeau. I'm rooting for a snow game. Like I want to see that so bad. I want to that'll be pure poetry if I see that. And I just can't picture a world. I love the Saints. I hate the team, but I love them as a roster. I just can't picture them going up to Lambeau and beating the Packers. So I'm going to go Packers as my NFC representative in the Super Bowl. And listen, I want to go flashy, but I'm not going to lie to the fam. I'm going to do the same thing as Tom. I'm going to go Bills, Chiefs, and I'm going Bills. Because here's my one thing, okay, that I think is going to be glaring. The Kansas City Chiefs have the worst red zone defense in the league. That will come back to bite them in the playoffs. Just watch that stat.
Yeah, I mean the Bills have a better defense. I mean, and an offense that can score with them. So, it would make sense for the Bills to beat them.
So I've got Bills, Packers, but I've got Packers winning.
Packers winning. Okay, I got Bills winning it. Ralphie has
Chiefs, Packers. I got Packers winning it.
the Packers winning it. Greg,
I want to say the Bills, but I'm going to have to roll with the GOAT. Gets another one outside of New England.
know it. Melt it.
Home game too.
It would be a home game too. How funny would that
that'd
be?
be? That'd be first in Super Bowl history, right? That a home team plays in the Super. Yeah, how about that?
The team that has hosted the Super Bowl, I think, is like, what Super Bowl are we on right now?
55?
228.
Yeah, we're like 55 or whatever the Super Bowl is.
55, I think, Ralphie. I think.
Whatever team's hosting the Super Bowl has never made it to that Super Bowl.
That's true, Jesse. Bills Bucks would be great. Two teams that you never see in the playoffs.
Yeah. Bills Bucks, Bills. Even Bills Packers is cool.
Yeah.
But any of them are cool.
Going at it.
All right, last one, and we're signing off. All right, last one for you. Last question. Gun to your head. Everybody's on the board at 6. All right, because I'm not gonna break the board down. Right. Your favorite guy's on the board at 6. Who is it? And let's go.
Well, last year at 21, I wanted a linebacker, and they're not going to do it again this year. So I'm going to go Patrick Surtain from Alabama. Just give me a great cornerback to pair up with Slay. That's who I'm taking at 6.
I love it. Greg?
My guy's on the board.
Parsons right there.
Give me Jamar Chase.
Okay.
And I love Parsons. I love Surtain. I agree. I just don't think they're going to take a linebacker at 5 or 6.
Yep.
What's that?
Is Parsons worth that pick? You've seen him play
Yes.
more than I have. I know.
Yeah, he is, Tommy.
And he's not necessarily a middle guy, but he can play he can play the entire linebacker. He can cover.
Like Roland,
he could, you know what I mean?
Like the guy from the Bears. What's it?
Yeah. Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith. I don't know why I said Roland.
No, he is absolutely worth the top 5, top 10.
I didn't mean Trevor Lawrence. Grow up.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for somebody to say, "Well, Trevor Lawrence."
I meant thick ones. Okay, no, I like it, guys. Okay,
realistic. I'll give you my 3. 3 Penei Sewell, 2 Devontae Smith, 1 Patrick Surtain. To pair up with Slay, the double S's. Or no, he's a C. No, it's an S.
No, it is.
Okay, I got it.
I mean, that's my guy. 1. But I'll switch it up, and I'll just switch it up, even though I don't like. To me, there's 3 guys you can take, and I'm good. There's probably even a few more guys that I'm good with. You know what I mean? But 3 guys that I'm really good with, and then there's 4 or 5, like Parsons, Sewell. They're 4 or 5 to me, but Chase, Surtain, and Devontae Smith. I've watched so much of Devontae Smith. He's been good since he's been a freshman at Bama. He's had big catches. I know he doesn't look the part, but either there's guys like Tyreek Hill and other guys, right? You might not look the part, but the guy just gets open. He just gets open. Wide receivers don't win the Heisman. I mean, a monster fucking year. So, I'm hoping that he falls. But again, I mean, my number 1 guy is Surtain. I'm just playing the other side of it. Mm-hmm. But before I really thought about the defensive side of it with Surtain, it was Devontae Smith. When I was watching Jalen Reagor stink, it was Devontae Smith. So,
yep.
And let's be real, when you could take a 7-yard slant to the house,
yes, I
don't care what you look like.
There's straight speed, and then there's the ability to get open speed, right?
Yeah.
If the jerk-offs watched any tape last year, they would have seen that Jefferson wasn't a slot guy. He played slot that year, because he's just a team captain.
Because you had Jamar Chase on the outside.
Because they asked him to. They asked him to do it.
He's a team guy. So, if you watched him, it actually showed him that in reality, he learned how to get open more playing the slot.
Yeah.
Right? So if you watch Jalen, it was like straight speed. So, that was common sense. When you look at Devontae Smith, it's extremely similar to Justin Jefferson in ways in terms of playing all the positions.
Yeah.
Like he's lined up in the slot. He's lined up on the outside. He's learned how to get open. Jamar Chase, special as shit, really plays the outside. So, which is fine. Completely okay with it. I don't think it's a swing and miss. I just take Smith because he played this year. With gun to my head. Chase didn't. That's my only downfall in Parsons is I would have loved to see him this year. So not seeing him hurts his draft stock to me a little bit. Sewell, I don't dislike him. I know Howie's way with Lyman, but my problem is I'm not going near the fucking Pac-12. Okay? So I'm not touching the fucking Pac-12.
I'm with you there.
He's
another guy who didn't play this year.
Yep. Whoa. Speaking of, I've got three quick things for you, real quick. Rapid fire. Number one, when you talk about players that haven't played this year, and what I'm worried about, if you were to trade back or if you had the 9th pick, if Peterson didn't tank the game on Sunday, I have a bad feeling that the 6th pick's going to be none of these guys we've talked about, and it's going to be Gregory Rousseau, the defensive end from Miami, who sat out this year because we know how Howie loves his DNs, especially if they're not bringing back Barnett. So I am worried about that. 2, when you look at the reason why I'm so big on Surtain, not only it's because of having the combination of him and Slay, when you talk about developing players, right? We could talk about it every day and twice on Sunday about how we haven't been able to develop anybody on the wide receiver, position. But we also haven't been able to do that at all when it comes to the cornerbacks. We've had either a bunch of stuff or just guys, you know what I'm saying? Like Jalen Mills has been the closest thing to developing a cornerback that we've had in years, and he's not a world beater by any means.
Well, you say it last night. I said last night. Sometimes you fight. People say, "Oh, you fight fire with fire," right? Nah, you fight fire with water. So you go at 2 guys who can go on islands. It allows your defense so much more flexibility. Now that being said, you come in the next year, you don't have that true number 1 wideout at least. You think on your roster. So you have that hole, but you get tremendously better on defense. Could I see him take Russo? Sure.
I hear you, Ryan. That's kind of why I wanted to stay as close to top 5 as possible, because once you get down to 8, 9, 10, you start to lose out on having the ability to take the guy you want versus who's fallen to me because the quarterback rush went, right?
Yeah.
And the other side of it too, and how crazy would this be, right? The Eagles sitting at 6, trade back to 9, but get extra picks. But depending on how the board falls,
I could see a trade back.
Would it be terrible depending on how it falls, right?
That's why I don't think we get some of these guys we want, because I do see a trade back. What was the rapid fire, right?
Well, it was just 3 things I had. I had the Russo, I had the other thing I said with Surtain. The third one, and why I didn't put Devontae Smith high on my list, it's because I just don't think he's getting past 3. I think Miami's taking him in 2 seconds and going to bed, especially now that he has the Heisman, just because of the combination with him and Tua.
Yeah, they should, or they should go for a quarterback if the right guy's on the board for that.
If Fields is there, I would.
I don't know. Then what are you doing?
Zach Wilson is flying up boards,
and he shouldn't be.
He's going.
Yeah, how crazy is that, huh?
He's going to the Falcons. I'm just write it down. I'm telling you. He's going to go to the Falcons.
If I'm the Eagles, I try to get up to 3. I'll continue. Or where the Falcons 3 or 4?
Falcons are 4. Bengals are 5.
If I need my guy, I try to get up.
The Saints win kept us out of the 3 pick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which I'm okay with, because I don't think we would draft at 3 because the money's too high.
And the tie too, Greg. The tie.
No. But if we would have lost the Saints, we would have had only 3 wins. We would have been the 3rd pick.
Well, no. But I'm saying, imagine if we would have lost that game and not
the tie too. Yeah. I think we still would have been. the same spot we are, I think.
No,
Yeah,
but it's
'cause
hard for them to take Devontae Smith, though. I mean, I think the first two, it's either going to be quarterback, or it'll be quarterback lineman. So depending on which way the Jets go,
and
then
Sewell's not getting past the Bengals.
no.
Nor should he.
Well, I think Jamar Chase. Listen, you want to be realistic? Devontae Smith to Miami, Jamar Chase to Cincinnati, and then that leaves us with Surtain at 6, most likely, right? So if you look at it like that, Jamar Chase teaming back up with Barrow. I mean, so like everything just like would line up. Devontae Smith goes with Tua, Chase goes with Barrow. I know they need linemen, but you sort of get him as running mate. So there's some of these connections to go on there. So. I think like you're going to be able to get one of these guys. You're going to be able to get Parsons. You're going to be like, if you want one of these guys, you're going to be able to get them. Like if you want Parsons or Sewell drops or Surtain drops or any of these guys, you're going to get one of these guys.
Yeah,
you got to hope it's the right guy.
In the wild.
Yeah, you just can't miss.
In the wild.
Yeah, no misses, please.
In the chance that Smith, Chase, and Surtain are gone by 6. Sound the effing alarms because trouble will be happening. You know what I'm saying?
Because if they're all gone by 6, then that means Sewell, Parsons are there.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's there. But how about this? If somebody wants to give you, if somebody needs a quarterback and they're 9 or 10, 11, and somebody needs a quarterback, I let them go get their damn quarterback.
Like Denver?
And I tell you, hey, I want your second. I want your first and your second to get up there, because now I want 2 seconds, right? Because I can pay 2 seconds. Make sense? Yeah. I can pay 2 second-round picks. So if I'm looking at financially on what makes sense is if you drop to like 11, you're out of the top 10, right? Now you're not paying as much money, right? And you're still getting. I mean, you should be still getting a talented player, like if you're good at what you do, right? And then now you get the extra second round pick, and you probably, you might be able to get something else. Somebody really wants their quarter. They get up in the top 10, teams give up shit. So to go to 11 to 6, you got to give up shit. You're giving up a good amount. There's probably
11's the Giants though. They're not traded with us.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So where?
Yeah.
Oh, 12, 49ers. 49ers
Denver's at 9 or 49ers are at 12.
Where's Denver 9?
9 at Denver, 12 at 49ers.
If you want to get the 6, they got to give you at least their first, their second. What else? I mean, is there something else to get the 6, or is that enough?
Well, yeah. I mean, their second would be 40, so it would be 940.
They probably give you like a future pick too, like a future third or something.
All right. I mean, I would do that deal in a heartbeat. I think it's like I can get a stud at 9. I said that before week 17. I wasn't worried about it. If I draft well, I can get a stud at 9. I know why we all want to be at 6, but I also need more picks in a way. So maybe he has a better chance of hitting some of them. You know what I mean? Like also more can be good if they're like, I'm not talking about more like 4th, 5th round. I'm talking about more in the 1st and 2nd round. Like the more picks I can get in the 1st, 2nd round, the more chance I have to hit. So, but I would rather stay at 6 and just take a game changer. But if I feel like my guy's not there, like if they have their guy, and that's Chase, say, right? And Chase goes, then get the fuck out of there then. Get out. I won't be mad. If you don't like Devontae Smith and he's there, and I don't trust them one bit. See, I'm saying like I trust him again. I don't fucking trust him one bit.
Don't do that to yourself, Tom. Don't do it to yourself.
Take it all back. All right, boys. Let's get the fuck out of here. It's been a great one.
Real quick, Tankathon, their current mock, and I'll just go to the 10. Lawrence, Wilson to the Jets.
Mistake.
Sold it to Miami. Fields to Atlanta. Parsons to the Bengals. Chase to us. Smith to the Lions. Surtain to Carolina. Trey Lance to Denver. And Caleb Farley to the Cowboys.
I'll take it.
Wilson over Fields, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. I get Chase. If I'm a Jets fan, I'm pissed.
He's flying up draft boards. I mean, I like the kid. I don't think he's the number 2 overall pick, though.
Okay. One's playing the national championship. That's all I got to say.
Taking a kid from friggin' BYU over a guy who dominated Clemson with broken ribs. Okay.
I hear you, but have you seen Ohio State quarterbacks play in the NFL? No, because they're not here anymore.
Hurts them.
Okay, well about BYU then, Craig?
I'm not saying BYU's any better, but there's less of a track record of BYU guys stinking in the pros.
Teams love to fucking outsmart everybody, guys. That's what we all miss here. So this time of year, guys are going to jump draft boards you never fucking heard of, or just, you know what I mean? Guys are going to jump into the first round like they did last year when Jalen Reagor jumped in the first round and everybody ran around like they knew who the fuck he was. Okay, like this happens every year. Guys jump in, guys fall out. It's his nature to beast. So like all these guys we're saying right now, in 2 months from now, this list, I'm telling you, there's going to be guys in this top 10 and you're like, what?
Well, Tom, you're spot on because we'll probably see the Eagles do it when they draft Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota.
I do like him.
You know what I mean?
Like Bateman.
Shut up.
He does catch everything.
He
does catch everything. I'm not taking him at 6, but he does catch everything.
Oh, Steve Young, BYU.
Coy Detmer.
I've had enough.
All right, fam. Guys, thanks for jumping on and joining us and all your comments. We appreciate it all. Everybody have a safe night. Turn your goddamn alerts on. We got shows every night. 2 more coming to you tomorrow night. Birds of a Feather. Hockey Happy Hour. So hockey season next week. Boys are going to
giddy up. Can't wait.
Let's go. Can't wait to talk some Sixers and Flyers on here. It's going to be fun. 2 good teams, 2 good winter sports teams. Playing in the summer, but 2 winter sports teams. That is a breath of fresh air for this city. So let's go. Excited to get into some more of that. And listen, we thank our that's fucking nylon. Jesus, that didn't even hit the net. I don't know who fucking shot that. I mean, the thing didn't even
Lee? I don't even know who Lee is. On the Warriors, Ralphie?
It was Lee. Wow. Okay. Thank our doc. Make him yours. Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Burlington, Cherry Hill locations. Find them on the web. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. All campus, OC.com. Discount code A2D. 15% off all your team hats. Sixers 7-1. Go get a hat. If John doesn't have one, he'll get you one. So that's all you got to do. All campus, OC.com. Discount code A2D. 15% off. And for all your A2D merch, PhillyDrinkers.com. Right? Just search in the search bar right at the top of the website. A2D Radio. All our merch comes up. Tons of different show shirts. Breaking QB Factory shit. Tumblers. Fun shit. Hats. Snapbacks. They're freaking gonna be working with Nike, Under Armour. All them great products are going to be launched shortly. So
got some ideas for a golf line for Philly drinkers. I'm excited.
Golf line, dork talk. Sorry, you two. You know my shot.
I'm not. Whatever Greg just did, I'm not doing that. Whatever he just did.
I don't even know what I just did.
I'm gonna leave that up there, fam. AllCampusOC.com. Discount code A2D. Get your 15% off. And PhillyDrinkers.com. A2D Radio. Get you golf merch coming soon, supposedly. Teaser talk. Love y'all. We out.